Family cultivation. My mobile phone traveled through time. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176. Creating a small immortal world. In the cave, a man and a woman sat opposite each other. The man was tall and handsome, wearing a green robe with silver trim on the edge and golden stars flashing inside. He looked 18 years old, slightly youthful and immature, sitting on a chair and talking excitedly. The female cultivator opposite had light makeup on her face and combed her hair, which was unique and exquisite. At this time, she was extremely graceful and her sword spirit was soaring. She was wearing a light blue dress, and her skin was shining with jade light, which looked unique and attractive. The aura of the whole body was drawn but not released, and the body was mixed with the mysterious yin and yang. Ancestor Jin was very strong. In the past, he was only at the foundation building stage, so he naturally couldn't feel the power of Ancestor Jin. But now that he has reached the Purple Mansion realm, he feels the vastness of that power more and more. It's like a mortal looking up at Mount Tay. It's like a mortal standing on the seashore. In Xuanji Cave, I read some books, and there are descriptions of the fairyland in the books. Xuanji said, in those descriptions, the fairyland is a higher world, with a higher world level and denser laws. The fairyland has terrible gravity and air pressure. If one's cultivation is lower than the level of transformation, once he sets foot in the fairyland, he will be overwhelmed and perish on the spot. Therefore, the babies who are just born there have a cultivation level of transformation, and they can become immortals, as long as they grow up. In the fairyland, any wild grass can be a supreme medicine in the human world, and can be used to refine the supreme elixir. The flow of time in the fairyland is faster, more than 300 times faster than in the mortal world. As the saying goes, 1 year in the fairyland is 1 day on earth. The lifespan of a transformation god is 5,000 years, but in the fairyland, he can only live for 15 years, which means his life is exhausted. In the mortal world, as long as you reach the foundation building stage, you can fly in the air, but in the fairyland, only when you reach the celestial fairy can you fly in the air. What is a celestial fairy? It means that you can fly in the fairyland. When he said this, Xuanji had an envious look. Why do we practice cultivation? Isn't it to ascend to heaven and become immortals? Every cultivator has a dream of becoming an immortal. Those cultivators who ascended often leave their Taoist traditions in the mortal world. Every once in a while, they will pass on some skills, some news, some secrets, etc. to the mortal world. Some information about the fairy world has also been passed down in the mortal world. Not only that, after the cultivators become gods, they can withstand the pressure of the fairy world environment and survive in the fairy world. If there are channels, the fairy world will send down talismans to guide some gods to ascend to the fairy world. After reaching the stage of refining emptiness, you can sense the existence of the fairy world. When you reach the stage of combining with the Tao, you can even guide the vitality of the fairy world and temper your body. When it comes to the time of tribulation, you can tear the door to the fairy world. If you can withstand the ninefold fairy tribulation, you can ascend to the fairy world. Ancestor Jin spoke up and said it in more detail. At that time, when I was flipping through these books, I was thinking about whether it was possible to artificially create the fairy world and simulate the environment of the fairy world. Xuanji said excitedly. Ancestor Jin smiled. You really dare to think about it? The fairyland is where the immortals live. The supreme Yuan point is the most vast and vast. It contains 3,000 different kinds of immortal energy. Immortal energy is more complex and higher than spiritual energy. You are just a Purple Mansion cultivator, and you really dare to think about it? Really ignorant and fearless. Xuanji smiled. If I create a real fairyland, I naturally can't. I just create a small fairyland. The small fairyland is only 1,000th or even 1/10,000th of the power of the real fairyland, but for me, it is enough. Then, he spoke about the plan of simulating a small fairyland. With the help of the Xuanji and the earth fire, the spiritual pressure is increased, and the density of spiritual energy is artificially increased. Then with the help of the Xuanji, the body's healing speed is increased. I can cast a high-grade purple mansion in just 20 years, just by using the Xuanji to create an environment with 20 times the spiritual pressure. Patriarch Jin listened and didn't take it seriously at first, but gradually his face changed and his expression changed too. In the end, he laughed out loud. So that's how it is. So that's why I'm wondering why the true disciples of those top sects can forge the 9-turn golden pill, but I can't. I started to think that I didn't have the talent, the understanding, the opportunity, and the resources, but it turns out that's not the case. It turns out that it's a problem of thinking. 9-turn golden pill, it's done. Patriarch Jin smiled, with a glimmer of joy in his eyes. You are my great opportunity. If Xuanji hadn't pointed out the secret, she might not have been able to condense the 9-turn golden pill for decades, hundreds of years, or even thousands of years, and could only stop at the 8th turn and disappear sadly. He is really a treasure boy. I'm going into seclusion, and I won't have time to entertain fellow Taoists. You can wait here or walk around. Having said that, he disappeared. Only Xuanji was left standing there puzzled. When he arrived at the cave, Patriarch Jin suppressed his impetuousness, began to sort out his gains, and determined the direction for the future. On the road of cultivation, there are many moments when you will encounter obstacles to knowledge and perception. Many times, a child can see things, but a Yuan cultivator or a Shenhua cultivator cannot see them. Many times, what restricts cultivators is not insufficient resources or poor qualifications, but ideas and directions. Xuanji is just a purple mansion cultivator, weak and pitiful, but she is thinking about creating a small fairyland. On the contrary, a giant and cultivator like her, because she knows too much, doesn't even dare to think about it, and has put shackles on herself invisibly. Creating a small fairyland is very likely, and the success rate is very high. Of course, the small fairyland created in this way is just a castrated and simple version, and may only have 1/10,000th or 100,000th of the power of the original fairyland, but for a giant and cultivator, it is enough. Legend has it that some ancient sects control some secrets and some special means to help cultivators forge the 9 transformation golden pill. I guess this is the so-called small fairyland. He used the big cauldron as the boundary and the earth fire as the fuel to increase the spiritual pressure by 20 times, and with the help of the sky making weather, he compressed and adjusted it to replace the fairy energy. Using such a model, the cultivation environment is artificially improved, and the time for breaking through is saved. I can arrange a 5-level formation, Liang Yi Sheng Mi formation, to increase the spiritual pressure by 100 times. I can use the sun's energy, the moon's energy, the spirit wood's energy, the Zhengjin energy, the Tei divine water, the innate spirit fire, the 5-color soil, etc. to compress and adjust it to replace the fairy energy. Some parts also need to be adjusted. The probability of breaking through the 9 transformations will be increased to 3 levels. Ancestor Jin calculated the formation in the model and found that the probability of success reached the 3rd level. The 3rd level is not low. Xuanhuang Realm, Bibitan. In front of the morning hall, there is a coffin, and in the coffin, there is a corpse. In front of the coffin, many female cultivators kneel in front, sobbing. The husband is dead. Died in the human calamity. My son, you died so miserably. In front of the coffin, a man stood, with a burly figure and a domineering aura. He clenched his fists and said angrily, I will avenge you. Chapter 177. The path to immortality is hard to find, and life is too short. On Xiang Mountain, a man and a woman walked side by side. The female cultivator was wearing a skirt, with a graceful figure, like a dream. She led the way in front, and arrived at a cave. In front, is the marrow washing pool. The marrow washing pool is a supreme treasure built by the master. There is marrow washing fluid in it. When the cultivators are striving for the purple mansion, they can enter it to wash their marrow and remove hair, and open up the acupoints and meridians much faster than usual. Liu Rumeng introduced as she walked. The marrow washing pool is quite difficult to build. It requires a 4th grade array master to make a move, and it also costs a lot of resources. When I arrived in Chu State, the master was treated with courtesy by the Danliang sect because of his 4th grade array master and became the supreme elder. Not only the marrow washing pool, but also the pure yang pool and the nirvana pool were built by the master, and they have to be repaired every once in a while. Because of the existence of the pure yang pool, the marrow washing pool, and the nirvana pool, the number of cultivators in the Danliang sect who have entered the purple mansion has increased a lot. Even the number of upper grade purple mansions has increased a lot. When they arrived at the cave, there was a pool in front of them, with a diameter of 10 feet. The green liquid continuously entered the pool, emitting endless heat and rich vitality, replenishing the consumption. In the pool, there were 3 female cultivators sitting in it, politically absorbing the marrow washing liquid and opening up the acupoints and meridians. One of the female cultivators was Xuanji. However, in the pool, waves of mist rose, covering some key parts. It will take at least 20 years to break through the barrier and enter the purple mansion. Liu Rumeng said, if it is only a low-grade purple mansion, it will only take 10 years. If it is a medium-grade purple mansion, it will only take 20 years. But if it is a high-grade purple mansion, it will take at least 100 years. Daoiyi has average qualifications and only entered the 9th level of foundation building at the age of 180, but he is very lucky. He actually condensed a strange phenomenon and had a chance to forge a high-grade purple mansion. Daoiyi, don't worry. Thank you. Lu Xuanji took a few glances and followed Liu Rumeng out of the cave. It is difficult to break through the purple mansion. It is difficult to temper the true essence, open up the acupoints and meridians, which is quite time consuming. It is difficult to face the nightmare wind tribulation, sky fire tribulation, heaven and man tribulation, and Qian tribulation, and the mortality rate is extremely high. Even with the assistance of pure yang pills, purple mansion pills, nirvana pills, and pure yang pools, marrow washing pools, nirvana pools, etc., it only increases a certain probability. There is no guarantee that you will definitely enter the purple mansion realm. There are always some cultivators who fall before the tribulation and turn into ashes. Accompanied by Liu Rumeng, Lu Xuanji went home after strolling around Xiang Mountain for a few more rounds. At this time, the elder was enthusiastically preparing for the purple mansion ceremony and was going to invite good friends to celebrate. After hearing this, Lu Xuanji said nothing and let the elder arrange it. It was time for the Lu family to celebrate. It was just better to wait for Xuanji to come out of retreat and celebrate together. After greeting, Lu Xuanji began to retreat and sort out his gains. As he practiced the skills, a stream of spiritual energy suddenly swept in, entered the Danshan, and was refined into true essence. Just a moment later, the spiritual energy in the cave was exhausted. Too little. Chang'an Mountain. This is only a 2nd grade top level spiritual vein, which is not enough for a purple mansion cultivator. The spiritual vein needs to be upgraded to the 3rd grade. Estimating the cost of various materials, and the hiring of a 3rd grade formation master to set up the gathering spirit formation, etc., it would take 1.3 million spiritual stones. But counting the Lu family's assets, there are only 500,000 spiritual stones, and there is still a huge gap. Sensing the speed of cultivation, the speed is slower. In the key training stage, it takes an average of 4 years to upgrade one level. After the foundation building, it takes an average of 12 years to upgrade one level. But after reaching the purple mansion, it takes 30 years to upgrade one level. If you consider encountering a bottleneck, it will take even longer. It is imperative to upgrade the spiritual veins, otherwise the current situation may exhaust the lifespan and cannot enter the 9th level of the purple mansion. Lu Xuanji thought. Dharma, wealth and land. Land refers to the cave, the spiritual veins for cultivation. If the spiritual veins are too low, it will affect the improvement of cultivation. After entering the purple mansion, there are still 300 years left for life. It seems very long, but in fact it will be gone in the blink of an eye. The immortal path is hard to seek, and the lifespan is too short. Lu Xuanji sighed. The lifespan of key training is too short, the lifespan of foundation building is too short, and the lifespan of the purple mansion is too short. The short lifespan restricts the cultivators. Many cultivators cannot touch the big bottleneck before their lifespan is exhausted. Why are the heavenly spiritual roots powerful? It is because of the fast cultivation speed, which can reach the bottleneck in a very short time, and then have a long time to polish the foundation and break through the barrier calmly. It is said that there is a special physique in the world of cultivation, called the immortal body. This physique has average combat power, average enlightenment ability, and average cultivation speed, but it is long-lived, and its lifespan is 10 times that of cultivators at the same level. For ordinary cultivators, the lifespan of key training is 120 years, the lifespan of foundation building is 240 years, the lifespan of purple mansion is 480 years, the lifespan of golden elixir is 1000 years, the lifespan of yuanying is 2000 years, and the lifespan of huishan is 5000 years. But for immortal body cultivators, the lifespan of key training is 1200 years, the lifespan of foundation building is 2400 years, the lifespan of purple mansion is 4800 years, the lifespan of golden elixir is 10,000 years. The lifespan of yuanying is 20,000 years, and the lifespan of huishan is 50,000 years. With such a long lifespan, there is no need for any cultivation resources at all. You only need to endure time and absorb and exhale spiritual energy. There is no need to fight or rob. As long as you don't fall in the middle, you will definitely become an immortal. But other cultivators have too short lifespans and too few resources. If they want to succeed, they must fight and rob. They must have constant disasters and survive 9 deaths. As for becoming an immortal by being a coward, it is absolutely impossible. Because without resources, they cannot grow. Without fighting in the outside world, they cannot temper their state of mind. Without these, it is destined that you cannot become an immortal. Flowers can grow in a greenhouse, but trees cannot grow. To become an immortal, you cannot just say I will work harder than anyone else. Qualification, mental effort, luck, fate. There are too many factors that determine the achievement of a cultivator. There are hundreds of millions of cultivators in this world, but it takes an average of 300,000 years for an immortal to be born. This shows how difficult it is to become an immortal. Grand Elder, we should build a 3rd grade spiritual vein. Xuanji said. Okay, but there are only 500,000 spiritual stones, and the gap is huge, said the Grand Elder. Ziyang Mountain, Daoist fellow Long Zuan can set up a 3rd grade spirit gathering array to upgrade the spiritual vein to the 3rd grade. Xuanji said. Hearing this, the Grand Elder was silent. After a long time, he said, I owe more and more favors to Ancestor Jin. I don't care anymore when I have more favors. Xuanji said. When I owe less debts, I still have a psychological burden, but when I owe more debts, I don't care anymore. The Great Elder said, in the world, the most difficult thing to repay is the debt of favor. Back then, when I was striving for the purple mansion, I used the Nirvana pool and owed Patriarch Jin about 800,000 spirit stones. Now, your Taoist partner has proved his way to the purple mansion and has entered the 3 major spirit pools, which costs even more. Now that the spirit veins are being upgraded, we have to borrow another 800,000 spirit stones. We owe Patriarch Jin more and more favors. If the time comes to repay them in the future, we must repay them with our lives. In the Mortal Dynasty, the Marquis spent a lot of money to support scholars, and the scholars could only repay them with their own deaths. It is said that Patriarch Jin offended a powerful enemy and had to flee to the East Wilderness. If those powerful enemies come to hunt him down, my Lu family cannot hide and can only fight. Chapter 178 Sword Fight. In the cave, the elder looked solemn and expressed his worries. After arriving in Chu, Jin Laozu did not say much about his origins, but the cultivators were not fools. From some clues and conversations, they had guessed some information about Jin Laozu. He must not be able to survive in Zhongzhou, and he may even offend a powerful enemy, so he can only go to the East Wilderness. Thinking that Jin Laozu's enemies may be Giant and Axio or even Yuanying, it makes my scalp tingle. Listening to the elder's worries, Xuanji muttered in her heart, what is Yuanying? Her enemies are some big sects and big families in Zhongzhou, and there may be some powerful people in the state of transformation. However, there is no need to worry too much. Donghuang is too far away from Zhongzhou, and those enemies may not be able to find this place. In this world, the strong are respected, but the strong cannot kill anyone they want. They must also consider the unspoken rules of the cultivation world and some karma. Even if the cultivators exterminate their families, they must abide by the unspoken rules. When the Lu family came to exterminate the family, the ancestor Yan Yang only killed the foundation building monks and the key training monks. As for the lower level mortals, he did not dare to kill them at all. Killing monks can be understood as revenge, but killing mortals will be regarded as evil cultivators, attracting the pursuit of the giant ancestor and the Yuanying's engine. When the major forces joined forces to destroy the Jin family, they only destroyed the higher level monks of the Jin family. As for the foundation building monks and the key training monks, they did not kill them at all, but just dispersed them. As for the lower level mortals, they did not move at all. It is not that those forces are kind, but the unspoken rules of the cultivation world. The monks fight for treasures, and for the bottom, and no one will interfere. They think it is natural, but if the monks expand their killing, kill a large number of lower level monks and civilians, it is almost to cut themselves off from the human race. At that time, the top human race will intervene. If those forces, after destroying the Jin family, killed a large number of low-level cultivators and civilians, there might be old monsters of Liangsu, or even old monsters of Hedao, who would intervene and give severe punishment. Killing for treasures is allowed, robbing territory is allowed, and killing for revenge is allowed, but the expansion of killing is prohibited. Otherwise, every fight will affect mortals, resulting in a large number of mortals being slaughtered. Maybe hundreds of years later, because of unrestrained killing, the population of the human race will be sparse, and it will fall on the verge of extinction. The killing in the cultivation world is constant, seemingly disorderly, but everyone abides by some unspoken rules, and the world is in an orderly state. Moreover, after destroying the Jin family, those forces are more powerful, have more resources, and can cultivate more geniuses. On the contrary, those remnants of the Jin family, who have lost the family's land and the guidance of their predecessors, will fall into the dilemma of insufficient resources and their cultivation will be slowly improved. In the end, the strong will become stronger and the weak will become weaker. What basis do those remnants of the Jin family have to turn the tables and take revenge? Is it just based on a sentence, 30 years in the east 30 years in the west, don't bully the poor young man, or a sentence I work hard, I will definitely succeed? In the decades after the incident, the hunting down of the remnants of the Jin family was strong. But after a few decades, the hunting down of the remnants of the Jin family slowed down, or even disappeared, and they were too lazy to hunt them down. Those forces were busy with internal disputes and fierce factional struggles, and they had to focus on new enemies. As for the remnants of the Jin family, they were just minor problems. It can be said that Jin Liaozu is very safe now, as long as he doesn't happen to run into the muzzle of someone's gun, he is safe and worry-free. Even if he appears directly in front of some people, those enemies may not remember a certain remnant of the Jin family. Those enemies are very busy, and have no time to pay attention to her. Jin Liaozu is very safe. Besides, is it too late for us to get off the boat now? Even if we report Jin Liaozu, do you think those enemies will look up to us? Lu Xuanji smiled and asked several questions in succession. Get off the boat. Of course you can't get off the boat. The elder Sidon said, just getting involved in the fight between the big guys, the Lu family will be crushed if they are not careful. What's more terrible than standing on the wrong side is not standing on the right side. Lu Xuanji said with a smile, if you don't stand on the right side, you will also be the first to be eliminated. Does our Lu family have the power to choose? The Lu family is now considered strong, with 2 purple mansion cultivators, and 40 foundation building cultivators. As for the other key refining cultivators, there are more than 1,000. But in the eyes of those top forces, it is still weak and pitiful. The Lu family can survive now, not because the Lu family is strong, but because the Lu family chose to stand on the right side, chose to ally with the Yi family, and attach to the lineage of the Jin patriarch. Otherwise, how could the Lu family be safe and stable all these years? In this case, you have to bear the corresponding risks. The elder nodded and said, you are right. It is me who fantasizes about being safe and sound, but I'm unwilling to take any responsibility. Take a look at this. As he said, he took out a sword sticker and handed it over. Xuanji opened the sword sticker and took a general look. The Wu family and the Lu family had a dispute over a mine. Each of them insisted on their own opinion. Even the Danliang sect's persuasion was ineffective. So, they could only fight with swords. The mine would be decided by 2 wins out of 3 games. Wu family, why are you sending the sword sticker now? Xuanji asked. Because you have made a breakthrough. The elder laughed and said, when conflicts and disputes occur between immortal cultivation families, they have the rules and constraints of the Danliang sect. They cannot fight as a whole family, and can only decide the ownership through sword fighting. In the past, you were a foundation building genius, and you killed many demon geniuses. Even Ancestor Jin valued you. Firstly, with you, the chances of winning the sword fight are slim. Secondly, if I use some shady means to kill you during the sword fight, it may offend Ancestor Jin. But now, you have entered the Purple Mansion and cannot participate in the sword fight. So the Wu family sent a sword invitation to my Lu family to fight with my Lu family. Xuanji said, Wu family, why did you choose to fight with swords, and what benefits will it bring to the Wu family? The elder said, there are 3 benefits. There is black iron, ore in that mountain range. After preliminary observation, the output is not low. If we get this vein, we can increase some income for the Wu family. This is the first benefit. The second benefit is that the Wu family and the Lu family have been fighting each other because of some business conflicts, which has caused some hatred. It is just right to take this opportunity to take revenge with a legitimate reason. The third benefit is to please certain people. In the Danliang sect, there is a giant ancestor who has conflicts and hatreds with the Yi family ancestor, the Jin ancestor, etc. They can't get out, so we have to do it. I understand. Xuanji nodded and said, then let's fight with swords. The cultivators of the Lu family have lived comfortably in recent years. It is too easy to obtain resources. They lack certain experience. It is just right to use this sword fight to hone the family cultivators. Victory is also happy, defeat is also happy. This generation of children, they have grown up too smoothly. Some are domineering, arrogant, and some are arrogant. It's time to knock them down. Chapter 179 Wu family. Back then, when the Lu family was in trouble and needed to purchase foundation building pills, they would not grant foundation building pills unless they had 3 spiritual roots, outstanding comprehension, or outstanding skills. However, with the support of Patriarch Jin, the marriage with the Yi family, and the maturity of the Jade Marrow Ganoderma, the number of foundation building pills in the family increased, and the conditions for granting foundation building pills were constantly decreasing. As long as one reached the 9th level of key training, as long as one was not too old or too useless, foundation building pills were often granted. This led to the birth of more than 40 foundation building cultivators in the Lu family in just a few decades, but the quality of foundation building cultivators was declining, whether in terms of qualifications, comprehension, or state of mind. They were not as good as the previous generation. It was just right to use this sword fight with the Wu family to give the family cultivators a blow. As for the competition for the mine, the final ownership is not so important, but the reward should be more generous. Xuanji said. Of course. The elder nodded and said, if you defeat the enemy, you can give him a pure yang pill. A pure yang pill. The reward is a bit low. Xuanji said. Is the reward low? A pure yang pill is at least 150,000 spirit stones, which is not low at all. The elder said. The pure yang pill is too far away. It is better to give him a place in the Purple Mansion seed. Xuanji said. Purple Mansion seed. This is too much. The elder said, in the family, among the 40 foundation building cultivators, there is no second spirit root, and no one with outstanding comprehension. They are not qualified to obtain the Purple Mansion seed. The Purple Mansion seed will be regarded as the next generation of Purple Mansion cultivators for training. In terms of family resources, a large amount will be tilted towards the Purple Mansion seed. The elder used to have the best qualifications and was a second-grade alchemist, so he was regarded as a purple mansion seed. Later, Xuanji became the family's purple mansion seed because of his qualifications comparable to those of the second spirit root, amazing comprehension, and fast cultivation speed. But in this generation, the purple mansion seed of the Lu family has not been born yet, because among the more than 40 foundation building cultivators of the Lu family, those who are too old and those with 4 spiritual roots have been eliminated. Among the remaining dozen cultivators, no matter in terms of aptitude, comprehension, opportunity, etc., the probability of impacting the purple mansion is not even enough to become a purple mansion seed. Since no one is suitable, let's put it aside for the time being, and wait for the right one. As the saying goes, it is better to have nothing than to have something bad. He still has more than 200 years of life left, and he has a long time to choose the purple mansion seed. If this generation doesn't work, then wait for another generation. Great Elder, this is what I think. If the aptitude is not good, resources can make up for it. If the comprehension is not good, as long as it is not as stupid as a pig, it can be done. Let's choose the one with the most suitable character, and choose one person from this generation to be the purple mansion seed. Xuanji said. But in this way, in order to cultivate this purple mansion, it will inevitably cost a lot of resources. The Great Elder said, in this way, your resources will be relatively much less. Great Elder, let me tell you our good news. After entering the purple mansion, I have comprehended the Cheyenne Mudafa to perfection, and the level of impacting the 4th grade spiritual plant master has disappeared. It's just because of my lack of skills and the lack of enough Cheyenne Mu runes that restrict my level. In 20 years at most, I can become a quasi 4th grade spiritual plant master. In 50 years at most, I can become a 4th grade spiritual plant master. I can't guarantee anything else, but in 100 years, the pure yang grass, hydrangea, nirvana flower, etc. will probably be mature, and then we can make pills. Great Elder, you have to improve your alchemy skills, otherwise by then, some people can't find the medicinal materials for alchemy, and ask outsiders for pills. Xuanji smiled, and said the good news. The Great Elder listened and said, okay, as long as you have medicinal materials, I dare to make pills. It is difficult to find a high quality alchemist, mainly because there are no medicinal materials. Without medicinal materials, how can you make pills? With the 3rd grade spiritual medicine, after a few attempts, I will be able to master the skills, and become a 3rd grade alchemist very quickly. Xuanji nodded and said, that's the best. The Great Elder said, you have a higher talent for alchemy. You once won the championship in the Yi family. Unfortunately, I don't have time to make pills. I have less than 300 years to live. If you want to become a golden pill in less than 300 years, you can't dabble in other things, you can't be too complicated, and waste too much time. Xuanji said directly. If he does everything, what are the other cultivators in the family doing? The family should divide the work and cooperate. Some people are alchemists, some are weapon refiners, some are spiritual plant masters, some are talisman makers, etc. As long as there is one profession, there is no need for a second profession. There are too many professions, which delays the time for cultivation. Okay, everything is up to you. The Great Elder nodded. Qingshu County, Xuanji Lake. Next to the lake, there is a huge village. Near the village, there are spiritual fields one after another, in which spiritual medicine, spiritual rice, etc. are planted. The spiritual rice exudes a faint fragrance, and the spiritual medicine is green and lush. In the lake, there are fishing boats moving forward, scattering fish fry in the lake, and taking care of the spiritual fish in it. This is the territory of the Wu family. Unlike the Lu family, it has a 1,000-year history in Qingshu County. The Wu family came from the Wu Kingdom. Because of the civil strife in the Wu Kingdom, the Wu family led the monks to the Chu Kingdom, and took root near the Danliang sect, becoming one of the affiliated families of the Danliang sect. It has a history of about 200 years. The Wu family is good at raising spiritual fish. When choosing the clan land, they chose the area near Xuanji Lake. The spiritual fish they cultivated have different flavors. Not only are they rich in spiritual energy and delicious, but they can also assist in cultivation. They are sold in several nearby counties and are extremely popular. In order to facilitate sales, shops were opened in some markets, a supply and marketing system was established, and a complete sales chain was formed. In addition, he is on good terms with other families, so he is in a good position. In the conference hall, the clan leader, the first elder, the second elder, and others were discussing things. The Yi family has agreed to a sword fight in 3 days, and the location is in Xuanji village. The head of the Wu family said, Xuanji village, a mortal village, was originally inconspicuous, but because there is a black iron ore here, this inconspicuous village has suddenly become famous. Then let's have a fight. The first elder nodded. The second elder said, the rest are minor issues, but I want to confirm that Lu Xuanji has really entered the purple mansion. The clan leader sighed and said, it's no longer a purple mansion that can be certified, but a superior purple mansion has been cast. There is at least a probability of 3 layers to be certified as a golden elixir. As he spoke, his words were full of envy. At the beginning, the conditions were limited, and he was only a middle grade purple mansion. Chapter 180, The First Sword Fight. There is a small mountain village under the continuous mountain range. The scale of the mountain village is very small, with only a few hundred people. There are orchards, fields, etc. around the mountain village. Pear trees are planted in the orchards and rice is planted in the fields. This mountain village is ordinary and common. At this time, it is morning. According to the usual habit, farmers have been dispatched to cultivate the fields, comb the weeds in the fields, comb the soil, and catch pests. But at this moment, no villagers are dispatched. They are all curiously watching in front of the village in trance. Because the immortals are going to fight swords here. Xuanji village is just an ordinary mountain village, ordinary to the extreme, and there is nothing special about it. But not long ago, a mineral vein was discovered here. There is a large amount of hematite in the mineral vein, and it is also mixed with gold essence, or mithril, etc. So, the Wu family and the Lu family had a dispute. The Wu family said that this was discovered first, so it naturally belongs to the Wu family. The Lu family said that this is our territory, so it naturally belongs to the Lu family. The Wu family said that according to the division on the map, this is our Wu family's area. The Lu family said that according to the division on the map, this is our Lu family's territory. As the saying goes, the man has his own reason, and the woman has her own reason. Everyone has his own reason, but no one has his own reason. If the reason doesn't make sense, then don't talk about it, just fight with swords. Soon, the Wu family posted a sword post. The Lu family responded, and then there was a sword fight. On the flat ground at the entrance of the village, the Wu family stood on the east side, with about 200 people, including foundation building monks who participated in the competition, and key training monks who watched the excitement. Such a sword fight can increase experience. The Lu family stood on the west side, with about 150 people, also foundation building monks, and key training monks. In addition, there are some other spectators, such as the monks of the Yi family, the monks of the Sun family, the monks of the Qian family, the monks from the Danyang school, and the monks from Xiang mountain. They all came to watch the excitement and to explore the details of the Wu and Lu families. Lu Xuanji has entered the purple mansion, and it is a top-grade purple mansion. He is simply a genius. In the crowd, Yi Biao looked at the cultivators of the Lu family, and found Lu Xuanji among them. A trace of envy flashed in his eyes. Top-grade purple mansion is also known as the golden elixir seed. Even though there are not many of them in the Yi family, they are still considered geniuses. Looking at this genius, and thinking that he is still stuck at the half-step purple mansion, he felt sad. He is worthy of being him. In the crowd, there was a female cultivator with a veil on her face. Her face could not be seen clearly. She just looked up at the head of the Lu family who was like a star in the crowd. However, she felt indescribably complicated. In the past, she ran away from marriage, but the Yi family did not pursue her, and the Lu family did not react. It was plain, as if she had lost 10 spirit stones, which seemed insignificant. While she was grateful, she also felt a little lost. The emotions were so complicated that even she could not explain them clearly. He has become a top-grade purple mansion, but I'm still refining my true essence. I'm far behind him. I have to work hard when I go back. If I can't become a top grade purple mansion, I will be willing to die, Yi Chen-Yu said in her heart. In the original plan, she only needed to condense a middle grade purple mansion. But because of this person's stimulation, she felt unwilling to not forge a top grade purple mansion. Not fighting for bread, but fighting for face. In the crowd, Wu Xian, Sun Cheo, Kan Zuantong, Zhao Wuling, Zhao Wuming and others all looked at Lu Xuanji with complicated expressions. In the past, he was the most powerful. Today, he is standing on a high place, not on the same level as them. At the time of C, everyone was almost here. Liu Rumeng said, Dao, you are from Danliang sect, why don't you go up and speak first? The guest follows the host's wishes. This is the territory of Jin Lao Zhu. Let's go up and say a few words. Dan Chenzi said, with a smile on his face, giving people a feeling of I'm here to make soy sauce. Okay, let's go up and host the sword fight together. Liu Rumeng said. That's natural. Dan Chenzi nodded. After the two of them gave way, Liu Rumeng pointed her finger and said, turn the earth into mountains, rise. Suddenly, the earth spirit power on the ground was violently fluctuating. The earth was rolling, gathering, and rising. In just 10 breaths, a ring with a height of 15 meters and a length and width of 100 meters appeared. Liu Rumeng was the first to step onto the ring, followed by Dan Chenzi. Liu Rumeng said, the Lu family and the Wu family had a dispute over a mineral vein. They had tried to coordinate, but unfortunately failed. Since the coordination failed, they could only win by sword fighting. I won't say more. Before the sword fight, I will tell you the rules. The sword fight is a best of 3 game. If the winner can't be determined, the sword fight can continue. After the sword fight, life and death are at your own risk. Regardless of the winner, the two sides must not fight. During the sword fight, high-grade magic weapons and high-level talismans must not be used. Those who violate the rules will be judged as failures. These are the 3 rules. Do you have anything else to add? Dan Chenzi stepped forward and said, Dao Liu has said what he should say. I won't say much. I just want to say one thing. In the world of cultivation, the strong are respected. There is nothing wrong with fighting and dueling, but don't harm the interests of the human race, and cut yourself off from the human race. Now the stage is for you. As he said that, Dan Chenzi flew down the stage. Liu Rumeng also flew down the stage. The head of the Wu family spoke up and said, in the first round, my Wu family will send out the cultivators first. Wuming, you go up. Yes, clan leader. At this moment, a young man nodded, urged the wind control technique, and stepped onto the ring. Wuming stood on the ring and said loudly, Wuming, ask for advice from fellow Lu family. Interesting. Lu Xuanji smiled, looked at the foundation building cultivator of the Lu family, and said, this little fellow is at the first level of foundation building. My Lu family cannot bully others by taking advantage of their power. Is there any cultivator at the first level of foundation building willing to go up to the ring and compete with this little fellow? The elder was sitting at home and could not go out. The leader of the team this time was Lu Xuanji. On the one hand, it was to establish his prestige, and on the other hand, to exchange feelings with the foundation building cultivators of the family. Lu Xuanji was the clan leader, but because of his long-term seclusion, he had little contact with the foundation building cultivators in his family and his feelings were relatively weak, which was not conducive to the unity of the family. This time, he let him lead the team, isn't it to increase the feelings between them? Patriarch, I'll do it. Patriarch, I'll do it. At this moment, 5 cultivators stood up in succession. All of them were at the first level of foundation building. Lu Xuanji nodded, and the army's morale was ready. Before the sword fight, no contestants were selected, just to test the quality of the Lu family cultivators. He didn't care about the victory or defeat of the sword fight. Instead, he wanted to use the sword fight to see the mentality of the Lu family cultivators. Those who feel that their strength is not good enough, don't force it, you can retreat. Lu Xuanji said. The moment he opened his mouth, he activated the secret technique of yin-yang transformation, turning the power of the soul into a deterrent force. Those cultivators who were not strong-minded, did not say what they wanted, and did it reluctantly would subconsciously retreat. Suddenly, 4 cultivators retreated, and only 1 female cultivator stayed. "What's your name?" Lu Xuanji asked. "Lu Wuchen," said the female cultivator. "Go up," Lu Xuanji said calmly. "Winning is also happy, losing is also happy." Lu Wuchen nodded, and flew up to the ring. Chapter 181 Flowers in the Greenhouse. Lu Wuchen, Wu Ming. After informing each other of their names, they entered the duel without saying much. Wu Ming pinched the seal, and suddenly the strong energy surrounded his body, first forming a defense, then he urged the flying sword, turned into a stream of light, and stabbed. Lu Wuchen activated the secret technique, and his body changed, turning into 12 phantoms, changing between reality and illusion, avoiding the sniping of the flying sword. Wu Ming immediately shook the bell, and the bell rang, emitting soul-stirring sounds. Suddenly, Lu Wuchen's expression became sluggish. Wu Ming urged the flying sword and stabbed. At the moment, when he was about to stab at the center of his eyebrows, a shield appeared at the center of his eyebrows, blocking the stabbing of the flying sword. Lu Wuchen also woke up, urged the flying sword, and the sword shadow flashed, and stabbed continuously. Swish. On the stage, flying swords were flashing, shadows were changing, spells were attacking, and the two sides fought fiercely. The fight was very lively and quite beautiful. But Lu Xuanji frowned slightly when he saw it. It was flashy and useless. Lu Wuchen and Wu Ming were both rough in spells and clumsy in fighting skills. It was not their fault. The lifespan of key refining cultivators was too short, and most of their time was spent on improving their cultivation and speeding up the upgrade speed. As for fighting skills, they were relatively rough, learned for a short time, and had insufficient combat experience. On the contrary, those casual cultivators struggled on the edge of life and death every day. Although the mortality rate was high, those who successfully survived to the foundation building stage were often rich in combat experience, rich in combat skills, and had a precise grasp of the timing of the battle. However, this was meaningless. In terms of cost effectiveness, improving the speed of cultivation was more important than being invincible at the same level. There were once 2 cultivators who fought to a draw, but 100 years later, one was at the peak of the Purple Mansion and the other was at the peak of the Golden Core. Do we still need to compare and duel? There is no need. Boom boom boom. The two sides were blasting each other, and the fight became more intense, but the true energy in their bodies was almost consumed. The winner was about to be decided. Endless skyfire. Wind meteor kill. At this moment, both sides blasted out. Boom boom boom. When the spells dissipated, both sides fell down, bleeding. The mana was exhausted, and it was almost a lose-lose situation. Fortunately, neither side died. I will count to 3. Whoever stands up first wins. If both sides don't stand up, it's a draw. Liu Rumeng said. 3, 2, 1. At this moment, Lu Wuchen stood up tremblingly. Lu Wuchen wins. Liu Rumeng said. Hearing the news of victory, Lu Wuchen fell down again. Rejuvenation technique for all things. Liu Rumeng pointed her finger and activated the spell. Suddenly, a stream of vitality was infused into the bodies of Lu Wuchen and Wu Ming, and their injuries were healed by as much as 7 layers. The two stood up, but their bodies were still weak, and the consumed true energy had not yet been replenished. It would take some time to recuperate before their injuries could heal. When they arrived at the stage, Lu Wuchen said, reporting to the clan leader, Lu Wuchen has fulfilled his mission. Okay. Lu Xuanji nodded and said, for spiritual roots, poor aptitude, but it does not mean that you cannot achieve the Purple Mansion. There is still a glimmer of hope. Don't give up. Thank you, clan leader. Lu Wuchen said gratefully. She is a 4 spiritual root. If it were in the past, it would be impossible to exchange the foundation building pill in the family, but after the clan leader came to the stage, he relaxed the restrictions on the foundation building pill, so she was eligible to buy on credit, exchange for the foundation building pill, and finally succeed in building the foundation. She was grateful to the clan leader. Lu Wuchen stepped down. In the second round, will the Lu family set the questions? Just then, the head of the Wu family spoke. Okay. Lu Xuanji nodded and said, Lu Xuanming, you go ahead. Yes. Lu Xuanming, who was at the 6th level of foundation building, nodded and went on the stage. The head of the Wu family sent another cultivator. The two sides fought Zao together again. These two cultivators have been building their foundation for some time. Their grasp of magical powers, combat experience, combat skills, etc. are all above Lu Wuchen and Wu Ming. The battle was less gorgeous and became simpler. But because of its simplicity, it was extremely dangerous. It was only the fifth move that would determine life and death. Swish! A flying sword flew out and landed on Lu Zuanming's 6 Yang leader. But at the same time, the opponent on the opposite side was also hit in the chest by a spell. But there was a flash of light that blocked the fatal blow. But he was also seriously injured. One dead, one seriously injured. Wu Yangming, win. Dan Chenzi announced the result and handed over a pill. Wu Yangming swallowed the pill and began to heal his wounds. After a while, he walked down the stage. When it was time for the Wu family camp, the entire Wu family was cheering. But on the Lu family side, it was gloomy. Lu Xuanji looked around first and saw that many Lu family cultivators were just worried, not sad. Only one woman was crying. This was Lu Zuanming's Taoist partner. Lu Zuanming died, and only the Taoist partner was sad. As for the other Lu family cultivators, they were worried, but they were not very sad. The blood relationship between many cultivators is relatively distant, and it has been 3 generations, and the relationship is relatively weak, so naturally there is no way to say that they are very sad. I'm sorry. Lu Xuanji stepped forward and said, "Little Taoist friend, what is your name?" "My concubine, Sun Xiao," said the female cultivator. "But is it a cultivator from the Sun family?" Lu Xuanji asked. "No, I'm just a casual cultivator, but later I met my husband, and we fell in love with each other, and became Taoist companions," said the female cultivator. Lu Xuanji said, "Do you have any children?" "There is a child. The child is Lu Daoan, only 5 years old." Sun Xiao said, tears rolling in her eyes. "Zuanming died for the family. As a widow, my Lu family has to take care of you. If you want to remarry, it's up to you. If you want to stay in the Lu family, it's up to you. The child must stay in the Lu family, and our Lu family will raise him up." Lu Xuanji said, "There will be corresponding compensation in the future. If you have any difficulties, you can come to me. If I'm not here, you can find the Great Elder." Lu Xuanji said, "Arranging the compensation matters." "Thank you, Patriarch," Sun Xiao said, wiping her tears and retreating to the other side. Lu Xuanji nodded. As the Patriarch, this is all he can do. The world of immortal cultivation has never been peaceful. There are battles with independent cultivators, demon cultivators, monster cultivators, bandits, and other immortal cultivation families. Death is a very normal thing. What he can do is to provide adequate compensation and not let the fallen cultivators bleed and cry. For the third sword fight, let the head of the Wu family set the questions, right? Lu Xuanji asked. Lu family's pride, it is said that you have amazing talent and extraordinary aptitude. Do you dare to fight me? At this moment, the head of the Wu family stood up and said in a cold voice, "You are in the 3rd level of Purple Mansion, but Lu Xuanji is in the 1st level of Purple Mansion. The gap is huge. Is such a fight fair?" At this moment, Liu Rumeng said, "Fair? Of course it's not fair." The head of the Wu family nodded and said, "But there is no fairness in the world. In the world of cultivating immortals, you can ask for anything except fairness. I'm at the 3rd level of Purple Mansion, but I'm a middle grade Purple Mansion. You are at the 1st level of Purple Mansion, but you are a top grade Purple Mansion. The gap between us is actually not that big. Don't we dare to fight? Or is it that the Lu family's Xuanji is a flower in a greenhouse, which looks good but is useless?" Chapter 182, The Art of Incarnation. Patriarch Wu, what you said makes sense. At this moment, Lu Xuanji nodded and agreed. Flowers can grow in a greenhouse, but trees cannot. How can men like us be afraid of a fight? If you want to fight, then let's fight. Liu Rumeng was about to persuade him, but at this moment, Lu Xuanji's voice came, and he could only remain silent. "Dao is too weak to fight me. I have a magical power. Please taste it," Lu Xuanji said, and spit out a stream of vital energy. This vital energy condensed and turned into another Lu Xuanji. This Lu Xuanji's figure flashed flew to the arena, and said, Dao Ao, please fight. Is this the supreme magical power, 1 key into 3 pure ones, or the Buddhist, shadow clone, or the demon sect's supreme secret technique, 10,000 transformations demonic art? A cultivator exclaimed. Legend has it that when condensing the top grade purple mansion, there is a certain probability of awakening the innate magical power. Could this be the innate magical power he awakened? As expected of a peerless genius, he actually awakened his innate magical power. How many levels of combat power does this clone have? Will this clone continue to grow stronger as the original body grows? The cultivators discussed it, but there was envy in their eyes. Thinking about the records and the classics, they became more and more envious. Condensing the top grade purple mansion not only takes a lot of time, but also consumes a lot of resources. However, there are still cultivators who are diligent and enthusiastic about condensing the top grade purple mansion, just because condensing the top grade purple mansion has two major benefits. One is to improve the cultivator's qualifications, and the other is that there is a certain probability of condensing the innate magical power. The innate magical power is innate, and does not need to be learned. It improves with the improvement of cultivation, which is of great benefit to the cultivator, and is also a perfect match for oneself. The head of the Wu family also changed his face slightly and said, Are you 1 key into 3 pure ones? No. Lu Zuan said. This method is 9 transformations of fish and dragon. When he killed the black armored boy, he not only gained the luck of stamping, but also the supreme magical power, 9 transformations of fish and dragon, as well as the black armored boy's cultivation insights. With the help of the black armored boy's insights, he glimpsed the mystery of the 9 transformations of fish and dragon. That black armored boy came from another world, the Bibotan of the Zuan Huang realm. He was a golden elixir demon king who had cultivated to the 9th transformation of the golden elixir. His strength was extremely terrifying, even above the golden ancestor. If he were in the real world, he would probably be killed in one move if he fought with the black armored boy. Unfortunately, in the luck calamity, he was directly suppressed to the early stage of the purple mansion, and then killed by him. 9 transformations of fish and dragon, the supreme magical power of the Black Carp clan. Effect: 9 transformations of fish and dragon can evolve 9 incarnations. Based on the body of carp, the duration of the 9 incarnations varies according to the strength of the original magic power, and the combat power varies. Effect: can undergo 9 transformations. Condense the 9 transformations golden pill. Disadvantage: cannot be cultivated if you are not of the black carp bloodline. Disadvantage: cannot be used if you are not of the strong magic power. Disadvantage: difficult to cultivate, takes a long time, cannot be perfected if you are not of the top level of comprehension and qualifications. These are all the mysteries of 9 transformations of fish and dragon. In his perception, there is a drop of demon carp origin blood in the heart. With the help of this drop of origin blood, 9 transformations of fish and dragon can be inherited. The inherited 9 transformations of fish and dragon starts in a perfect state. The only thing that restricts the power is a lack of realm. At this moment, Xuanji on the ring is an incarnation of 9 transformations of fish and dragon. The appearance of the incarnation and the maintenance of the battle need to consume the true essence of the original body. Theoretically, a maximum of 9 clones can be evolved, but too many clones consume more true energy and lack endurance. If only 1 clone is maintained, the consumption is small, and it can be maintained for a longer time, and the combat effectiveness is not inferior to the original body. Clan leader Wu, come up and fight, said the incarnation. You actually use an incarnation to fight me? Are you looking down on me? The Wu family leader said angrily. Yes. I just looked down on you. The incarnation said calmly, take my sword. He raised his right hand, and his right hand turned into a sword, controlling the slashing and killing. The great way is simple. This palm slashed down, like a mountain falling from the air. The destructive energy swept the ring. The domineering power suppressed the world, abandoned all tricks and calculations. Some were just naked crushing, and some were just overpowering people. The sword palm covered the entire ring. The destructive force swept everything. The Wu family leader frowned, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes, because this palm covered the entire ring. Facing this palm, there are only two choices. One is to dodge directly, but this will cause him to jump off the stage, and to be under the stage. It also means speed. The other is to resist the sword palm. Open. Zoomy fist. The head of the Wu family shouted, and the energy in his body burst out, merging with the earth. With the help of the earth's power, endless earth spirit energy suddenly entered his body. Crack. Crack. His body was rising, and he suddenly became a 2-meter-3 giant. His legs became thick, like pillars, his arms became thick, and his palms were huge like a cattail leaf fan. His hands were put together, and turned into two fists. Behind him, an illusory mountain appeared, which was the Zoomy mountain on Washam's body. His fists were thrown out slowly, but with the bombardment, the void was shaking violently, and countless earth spirit powers gathered together, and turned into a mountain more than 10 meters high, crashing into him. Zoomy fist, the supreme and domineering fist. The beginning is to decide life and death. The first move is to decide victory or defeat. Whether it was Xuanji or the head of the Wu family, they both abandoned the illusory moves and unnecessary skills, and chose to fight head on. Boom boom boom. The mountain peaks more than 10 meters high collided with the sword palm, and destruction and tyranny were mixed together. It was only a stalemate of less than a breath, and the mountain peaks more than 10 meters high shattered, as if split by the sword palm. The huge mountain peaks shattered. As the mountain peaks shattered, the destructive energy suppressed down. The sword palm submerged the head of the Wu family. When everything dissipated, Xuanji stood on the ring with a calm expression, but the head of the Wu family, who was on the other side, was covered with sword wounds and barely supported. The victory and defeat of both sides were clear at a glance. I lost. The head of the Wu family smiled bitterly. Thank you for your mercy. This vein belongs to you. The body shook and fell to the ground. At this moment, Xuanji stepped forward, supported his body, took out a pill, and fed it to him, and injected true energy to help digest the medicine. On the stage, the incarnation dissipated. Let's go. Xuanji put away the incarnation and said calmly. The sword fight was over. The mine in Xuanji village belonged to the Lu family. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 The Mastermind. The sword fight was over, but the impact was still there. If the first two sword fights were just appetizers, they were insignificant, but the third fight was absolutely wonderful. Of course, in fact, it was not exciting at all, and it was not good to watch. The duel between the head of the Wu family and the head of the Lu family was decided by just one move, and it was just a fight. The whole battle process was neither exciting nor good to watch, and it was not as exciting as the first two battles. This disappointed many low-level monks who were watching the excitement, but in the eyes of experts, they saw a lot. In particular, the head of the Lu family directly activated the incarnation, went to the arena, and used the incarnation to defeat the enemy. How powerful and invincible this was. After the discussion, people speculated how strong the head of the Lu family was. As for the prize of the sword fight, the mine seemed insignificant. Wu family, in the secret room. After the sword fight, the head of the Wu family entered the secret room, and began to retreat, and heal his wounds. As for the outside affairs, they were all handed over to the first elder, the second elder, and so on. Senior, I failed. In the secret room, the head of the Wu family said with a depressed look. In the other corner of the secret room, there stood a man in black, wrapped in darkness, and his true face could not be seen. He looked like a ghost. He spoke and asked, "Can you tell me more about the experience of the sword fight? You have to explain all the scenes on the ring clearly." The head of the Wu family spoke, talking about the specific experience of the sword fight, talking about some details. The man in black asked, asking over and over again, asking tirelessly, not missing any details. Senior, he displayed the supreme magical power, one ki transformed into 3 pure ones? The head of the Wu family asked. No, the black-clothed man said, one ki transformed into 3 pure ones is the supreme magical power of Taoism. To cultivate this magical power, one not only needs extremely high comprehension, but also needs taking ki, shanking ki, and yuking ki. One must constantly sacrifice and refine the 3 kinds of pure ki to transform them into supreme magical power. But he doesn't have the 3 pure ones. The head of the Wu family said, but is it the shadow transformation technique of Buddhism, or the 10,000 transformations magic art of the demon sect? Neither, the black-clothed man said. His expression was a little cold, but he couldn't tell whether it was a man or a woman. Shadow transformation technique. The core is to refine the shadow into an incarnation. If you look carefully, you will find that the shadow under your feet has disappeared. But from what I observed, his shadow is still there and has not disappeared. To practice 10,000 transformations magic art, one must be full of demonic energy, but he doesn't have any demonic energy. However, he must have practiced a top-level incarnation technique. The only uncertainty is what the upper limit of this incarnation technique is, and how many resources it consumes. 1 ki transformed into 3 pure ones is known as the first incarnation technique. Even if you reach the peak of the head AO, it will never be outdated, and has a very high upper limit. However, the corresponding resource consumption is also huge, and you need to use the 3 pure ones ki to perform the ritual. When you are at a lower level, the 3 pure ones ki consumed is less, but when you reach a higher level, the 3 pure ones ki consumed is almost huge. Many Taoist monks practiced 1 ki transformed into 3 pure ones in the early stage, but in the later stage, they ran out of resources and finally chose to give it up. Shadow incarnation technique does have fewer resources, but the upper limit is very low. In the later stage, shadow incarnation may only have the power of the 5th or even 3rd level of the original body, which seems dispensable. The man in black said casually, seeming very calm and able to see everything. But his clenched fists already showed his uneasiness. The head of the Wu family said, the Lu family has 2 purple mansion cultivators. One is the Great Elder, and the other is Lu Xuanji. The former has exhausted his potential and poses little threat, but the latter has forged a top-grade purple mansion, which is the seed of the future golden elixir. If he grows up, it's terrifying to think about it. Originally, I provoked Lu Xuanji and angered him to fight with swords. During the sword fight, I pretended to fail and killed Lu Xuanji with the help of a forbidden weapon. In this way, a future strong enemy was eliminated for the Wu family, and an explanation could be given to this senior. As for the anger and punishment of Ancestor Jin afterwards, I have also thought of a way to deal with it. After killing Lu Xuanji by pretending to fail, I will choose to commit suicide, apologize to Ancestor Jin, and calm Ancestor Jin's anger. To exchange my mediocre body for the death of a genius is a good deal, no matter how you look at it. But the senior was disappointed. He used his incarnation and the forbidden weapon, which was not worth it. As he said that, he took out a flying sword from his storage bag and placed it on the table. It's not your fault. Who would have thought that Lu Xuanji would have such a method? The man in black said. However, with such an opportunity, it's not too bad to test Lu Xuanji's trump card. In Zhaojia village, in a valley, there are already cultivators exploring the mineral veins and looking for something. The Lu family cultivators took over this mineral vein and prepared to mine it. In a tent, Lu Xuanji elegantly picked up the teapot and poured tea into a cup. He respectfully picked up the cup and handed it over. Liu Rumeng took the cup, blew the tea leaves, took a sip and said, the head of the Wu family has murderous intentions towards you? Why not just kill him? In a sword fight, life and death are at your own risk. Lu Xuanji said, if I were just a casual cultivator, I would naturally kill Wu Wenming without hesitation, but I'm the head of the Lu family, with a large group of people with my family, and I have concerns, so I naturally cannot kill the head of the Wu family. But Liangzi accepted it. In the future, the Wu family will be destroyed. Liu Rumeng said, you are too rash. Such a trump card should not be exposed too early, otherwise it will be targeted by the enemy. Now, am I not being targeted? Lu Xuanji said, this mineral vein is a little more valuable, but it is not worth a big fight between the Lu family and the Wu family. Someone is using the Wu family to test our Lu family? The big guys will not end easily, they will only send small pawns to keep testing and provoking. The tree that stands out in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. When you become excellent, there will inevitably be countless people who are jealous, discredit, and strangle you. Liu Rumeng said, this world is too small, and the resources are too small. No one wants a Chindan cultivator to rise. Although the Chu state is large, there are no more than 50 Chindan cultivators. As for some other cultivators, why can't they prove the Dao Chindan? Is it because they have poor qualifications and poor comprehension? Not at all. There are 7 layers of Chindan seeds that were strangled halfway. For some resources, many cultivators are very inward looking. Those Chindan ancestors are concerned about their masters and will not attack you directly, but they can use some pawns to attack you. You may be a genius, a monster against the sky, but a dead genius means nothing. Even if the master avenges you in the end, what's the point? Lu Xuanji said, I will pay attention. Not enough, still not enough. Liu Rumeng said, those people are dark and hard to guard against. As long as it's not the Chindan ancestors who take action, I'm not afraid. Lu Xuanji said excitedly, even if I'm defeated, I can retreat unscathed. They want to strangle me and eliminate some future threats, but why don't I want to take the opportunity to kill them and plunder resources? The Lu family is also short of money. It's better to kill some people and grab some resources. Chapter 184, Golden Light. In the tent, Liu Rumeng drank tea and said, there are 3 disasters in Foundation Building, 9 difficulties in Purple Mansion, and 12 disasters in Golden Elixir. It seems that there are many disasters, but in fact, disasters can be divided into 3 categories: heavenly disaster, life disaster, and human disaster. Heavenly disaster is the disaster sent down by the way of heaven, the test sent down by the way of heaven. Heavenly disaster, although it seems fierce, actually has rules to be found, and its power can also be guessed. Life disaster is the disaster of fate and the disaster of luck, such as insufficient talent, insufficient qualifications, insufficient understanding, insufficient opportunities, etc. Life disaster is a battle of fate, luck, and there are also rules to be found. Among the 3 disasters, heavenly disaster and life disaster are relatively easy, but human disaster is the most difficult, and there is no rule at all. If you want to survive the heavenly disaster, you must polish your magic power, refine magic weapons, prepare elixirs, etc. before you can survive the disaster. If you want to survive the life disaster, you must learn from the cultivators with rich luck and use their rich luck to resolve the life disaster. The master and the ancestor of the Yi family are trying to win you over because they value your strong luck and want to use your luck to resolve the fate. This is why some old seniors always like to help the younger generation and give them advice. At this point, Liu Rumeng paused and said solemnly, the human calamity is the calamity of the way of killing. The human calamity is born from the heart and cannot be guessed. The human calamity may be the enemy of fate. It may be a few words of conflict. It may be the killing thoughts before death. The most difficult to guess, the most difficult to predict. Lu Xuanji's heart moved, but he thought of the black armored boy. The black armored boy was originally a 9-turn golden elixir with a monstrous talent, and he had the ability to become an immortal in the future. But because of the human calamity, he fell in his hands. I have asked some Purple Mansion cultivators before. When the elder passed the luck difficulty, he only killed a key training monster beast. Liu Rumeng passed the luck difficulty and only killed a foundation building monster beast. When the old ancestor Jin passed the luck difficulty, his opponent was an ordinary golden elixir cultivator. For someone like him, fighting against a demon clan genius who had attained the 9-turn golden core, it was almost the worst bad luck. As the saying goes, things will turn around when they reach their extremes. The stronger the luck, the more adventures one will encounter, the more favor one will get from nobles, and the more favor one will get from beauties. However, the corresponding disasters one will have to endure are also extremely huge. After entering the Purple Mansion, Lu Xuanji vaguely felt that the disasters were gathering above his head, and the dark clouds were pressing down on the city, ready to destroy it. Ancestor Jin and the Yi family were trying to win him over, support him, and form an alliance with him. Those golden core cultivators were trying to exclude, suppress, and eliminate him. Perhaps they were afraid of Ancestor Jin, or perhaps they were afraid of some unspoken rules. Those golden core ancestors only had the intention to kill him, but they could not do it directly, so they could only let some pawns plot against him. The Wu family was the first group of people, but not the last. Now I understand why every Chindan ancestor who is born has to step on the corpses of countless cultivators to prove his truth against the will of heaven. One reason is that resources are limited. If you want to become a Chindan, you must plunder a lot of resources. The other is that the territory is limited. The appearance of a Chindan ancestor is bound to divide and occupy a lot of benefits. Xuanji sighed slightly. Looking at the history of the Purple Mansion realm for millions of years, killing and war are the main themes, and peace and development are only intermittent. Liu Rumeng smiled and said, the Lu family protected you too well. The master protected him too well. Therefore, you have such ridiculous and naive ideas that peace is the mainstream. Cultivating immortals has never been easy, not drinking and tea, not being free and easy, but fighting for life with the sky, fighting for luck with cultivators, fighting for luck with predecessors, and fighting for resources with the strong. Live happily and easily become a golden elixir, be relaxed and free, stay at home and easily become an immortal. Where in the world can there be such a good thing? Xuanji nodded and said, Dao is right, it is me who is naive. The master is in seclusion, and senior sister Long Zuan is also striving for the golden elixir, so the master asked me to protect the way. Liu Rumeng said, how strong is Dao? Can you compete with the golden elixir? Xuanji asked. It's hard to say. I can fight with ordinary Chindan cultivators, and can last 10 breaths without being defeated. But if I meet a top level Chindan cultivator, I may be killed in just an instant. Liu Rumeng said calmly, the protector of the way is more of a deterrent, not a nanny. You have to pay attention. This is given to you by the ancestor. As he said, he took out a jade pendant and handed over 3 talismans. There is a magical power in the jade pendant, which is the supreme escape technique. The first talisman can defend against a Chindan cultivator's attack. The second talisman can break through space confinement, space restrictions, etc., and escape. The third talisman. I hope you will never use it. Liu Rumeng said, with a serious expression. Xuanji took the jade pendant, and a divine thought came from the jade pendant, which was a supreme magical power, golden light on the ground. Golden light on the ground, the supreme magical power, has 9 levels. According to legend, if you practice to the 9th level, you can directly pass through the barrier of the fairy world, and ascend to the fairy world. The jade pendant only has the first passing of golden light. As long as the first passing is cultivated to perfection, ordinary Chindan cultivators cannot catch up. On the road of cultivation, the speed of escape is very important. Many cultivators will never recover after a defeat, and will definitely die, because they have strong attack power, but poor running speed. As long as the running speed is fast, even if they lose 10 times, they can still make a comeback. After the divine thought sent the information, the jade pendant shattered on the spot, and turned into powder. He took the 3 talismans again, and felt them carefully. He felt that there was a terrifying power in them, which seemed to be stimulated, and had great power. Drop blood, absorb it. Liu Rumeng said. Xuanji dripped blood, and fell on the talisman. Suddenly, the talisman flashed, entered the body, and lurked in the danshan. It seems that, as long as there is a trigger, it can be stimulated. So that's it. Xuanji nodded, and understood a little. Talismans are divided into different levels. Ordinary talismans, first grade talismans, second grade talismans, third grade talismans, etc. are all low grade talismans. You can activate the talismans by urging spiritual power. However, when the talismans reach the 4th level, they need blood, soul power, and true essence to activate them together. The talismans are stored in the danshan, and they can also be activated automatically when they are suddenly attacked to protect the body. Otherwise, some cultivators attack too fast and are too hidden before they attack. I'm afraid that in the moment of crisis, he will not have time to react and activate the talismans. Thank you, ancestor. Xuanji said respectfully. If it weren't for the ancestor, who is still a virgin and unmarried, I would have thought you were the ancestor's biological son. Liu Rumeng said with envy in her tone. The biological son is just like this. the ancestor treats you too well. As for saying that the ancestor fell in love with him and treated him as a lover, Liu Rumeng just thought about it and gave up the idea. Because he was not worthy. Lu Xuanji was just a purple mansion ant. How could he be worthy of the ancestor? Chapter 185, Nameless Stone Tablet. Then, he asked some more questions. Liu Rumeng said that the ancestor was in seclusion, trying to reach the nascent soul stage. He couldn't come out in the past 30 years. He had to take care of himself. Lu Xuanji nodded. It was impossible to reach the nascent soul stage, but he had to reach the golden core 9 transformations. The more he knew, the more worried he was about the golden core 9 transformations, and worried that the ancestor Jin would fail in the attempt. In fact, the ancestor Jin had failed several times in a row. After asking some more questions, Liu Rumeng said goodbye and left. He went to the opposite tent and practiced. Lu Xuanji was comprehending the supreme magical power, golden light of the earth. Among the supreme magical powers he was practicing now, there was the great 5-element yin and yang yuan magnetic universe extinction divine sword, which could be called the first attack and killing magical power. It was a pity that it was difficult to comprehend and practice, so he could only practice the reduced version of yuan magnetic sky sword. 9 changes of fish and dragon. Because it was obtained by seizing luck, it was born with the ability and could be mastered at a glance, and it was extremely powerful. Now, there is another one, golden light of the earth. There are also 2 great magical powers, pure yang true fire, and heavenly wood great method. Suddenly, it felt that there was too little time and too many magical powers, which were not enough. Yuan magnetic heavenly sword can improve attack power and must be learned. Pure Yang True Fire is a magical power brought by the pure Yang Dao body, which can temper the true essence and increase the speed of cultivation, and must also be learned. Heavenly Wood Great Method can improve the level of spiritual plants, allowing him to enter the quasi 4th grade spiritual plant master, or even a 4th grade spiritual plant master, and must also be learned. At this moment, the phone rang. The end of the fate deduction. On the nameless stone tablet, there is a fairy art. This art is called the Great Aspiration Art. You can make a wish to the Heavenly Dao. If the Heavenly Dao agrees, it will bring down boundless great power. The disadvantage is that it must be repaid afterwards. If it cannot be repaid before the demise, there will be great terror. At this moment, the phone rang, and a message came. Lu Xuanji was slightly stunned. After thinking for a moment, he remembered what it was. At that time, he had just established his foundation and went to Xiang Mountain to buy some materials to refine the bushanding. At that time, the old ancestor Jin showed a stone tablet with some words recorded on it, which was said to be a set of supreme swordsmanship. As a result, no one could comprehend a trace of mystery. Lu Xuanji was also unable to comprehend it, so he asked his mobile phone to record, save, and then deduction of fate. But this deduction took 120 years, and Lu Xuanji almost forgot about the stone tablet. Until this moment, he remembered it. The stone tablet actually records immortal arts, and the power of immortal arts is even greater than the supreme magical power. Lu Xuanji was surprised in his heart, and after being surprised, he began to comprehend. Great Wish Art. The Great Wish Art was recorded in words, about 2000 words. There were not many words, but Lu Xuanji read it carefully, and felt a headache. Half an hour later, the 2000 words began to be forgotten. Interesting. Lu Xuanji was curious, and continued to comprehend. 3 days later, he returned to Changyuan Mountain. The spiritual mine in Zhaojia village now belongs to the Lu family. The Lu family sent monks to take over and develop it. Everything is in order. As a protector, Liu Rumeng temporarily lives in the Lu family. The elder entertained her warmly and sent her the best cave, the best spiritual tea, jade emperor rice, etc. Sensing the thin spiritual energy here, Liu Rumeng frowned and began to arrange the formation and upgrade the spiritual vein. About half a year later, the spiritual vein was upgraded to the 3rd grade intermediate. The spiritual energy was upgraded by 5 levels. Feeling the rich spiritual energy, the Lu family was happy and grateful to Liu Rumeng. But correspondingly, the favors owed were also increasing. Time passed, and 10 years passed unknowingly. In these 10 years, Xuanji no longer focused on cultivation and improving his cultivation, but focused on polishing his magical powers. Yuanzi Xiandao, pure yang true fire, etc. It's time to increase their power. With the improvement of cultivation, some of the old magical skills are no longer enough. The improvement of cultivation can be put aside for the time being, and the level of fighting should be improved accordingly. If the level of fighting is too poor, it will be embarrassing to go out, and you may even lose your life. 10 years later, in the wilderness, Xuanji activated the golden light of the earth, and suddenly a golden light flashed under his feet, and the golden light flashed and disappeared in an instant. Xuanji felt that when he activated the golden light, his body was completely out of control, and he could not grasp the direction, and then crashed into a mountain. Boom boom boom. With a violent noise, the mountain was shaking, and then it was hit into a big hole. Patting the dust, he stood up with a dusty face. Cough cough. Xuanji coughed, and felt extremely embarrassed. Activating the dust removal technique, the dust on his body dissipated, and he regained his elegant appearance. After waiting for less than 10 breaths, Liu Rumeng appeared, and said with a smile, "Congratulations, you have achieved the first level of minor success in the golden light of the earth. In a moment, you can activate the golden light. Even if you are 30 miles away, the speed of ordinary Chindan cultivators is not as fast as you. But the true essence in my body was also drained in an instant, and I can't control it. I can release, but not take it back." Xuanji laughed. To be able to release and take it back, you must at least reach the perfect state. Liu Rumeng said, "It only took 10 years to cultivate to the minor success. Your understanding and aptitude can be said to be top-notch. Unfortunately, they are still too difficult to cultivate." Xuanji sighed. Minor supernatural power, it takes at least 30 years from entry to perfection. Great supernatural power, it takes at least 60 years from entry to perfection. If you encounter a bottleneck in the middle, it will be difficult to realize it, and it will take longer. You are still good. Some great magical powers require not only comprehension and aptitude, but also some special resources as assistance. Liu Rumeng said, "The great magical powers you practiced do not require high special resources in the early stage, but in the later stage, it is hard to say. Pure Yang true fire, to be perfected, you need to absorb pure Yang spiritual objects to improve the grade of the flame. Heavenly wood method, to be perfected, you need not only comprehension and aptitude, but also absorb the 5th grade spiritual wood. Yuanzi heavenly sword, to be perfected, not only must you have a strong physique, but you also need to absorb Yuanzi or golden light of the earth. To be perfected in the first level, you need to absorb secret gold. That's also a matter for the future. I don't need to be perfect, just great success is enough." Xuanji said, "Great success of magical powers is enough before the golden core. No need to think too far." "That's right." Liu Rumeng said, "To practice a great magical power to perfection, at least the golden core cultivation is required. At the golden core realm, the lifespan is more than 1,000 years, which is relatively long, and there is also time to hone the magical power." Chapter 186 Wish Rune. Back in the cave, Xuanji counted his gains. In 10 years, he had achieved the first level of golden light of the earth, the great success of heavenly wood method, the great success of pure Yang true fire, and the small success of elemental magnetic heavenly sword. Among the purple mansion cultivators, he was considered to have good combat power. He was also thinking about the strange phenomenon, pure Yang sun. He felt that, when he used it, his combat power would increase by 3 levels, and the enemy would be suppressed by 3 levels. It was a big trump card. The disadvantage was that when he used pure Yang sun, his true essence would be greatly consumed, and it could only last for 10 breaths. It could be used as a desperate measure, but not as a regular trump card. At the same time, the grade of the heaven devouring cauldron, the fire sword, etc. was also improving, and it was upgraded to the early stage of the 3rd grade. After the heaven devouring cauldron reached the 3rd grade, the speed of converting spiritual energy was accelerating. The amount of spiritual liquid at the bottom of the cauldron was increasing. The spiritual liquid condensed every day was equivalent to 100 spiritual stones. The spiritual liquid produced in a year was equivalent to more than 36,000 spiritual stones. Refining the spiritual liquid, the cultivation speed has a certain bonus, and entering the Bushinding, with the help of 20 times the spiritual pressure, the cultivation speed is accelerated, but the speed is still a bit slow. These factors are superimposed together, and it takes an average of 25 years to upgrade one level. 25 years to upgrade one level. When you are more than 400 years old, you may reach the 9th level of the Purple Mansion. If you add some bottlenecks encountered in the middle, it will take more time. No wonder it is difficult for casual cultivators and cultivators from small families to achieve the golden elixir without great opportunities. Xuanji smiled bitterly. Calculating the remaining lifespan and the time it takes to upgrade each level, I feel more and more that it is difficult to achieve the golden elixir. This difficulty is all round, with scarce resources, lack of guidance from famous teachers, and insufficient lifespan. There are two ways to increase the speed. One is to ripen the spiritual medicine. After the 3rd grade spiritual medicine matures, it can be refined into the 3rd grade elixir, which increases the speed of cultivation and shortens the time to break the mirror. The other is to forge auxiliary magic weapons to increase the speed of cultivation. It is best to do both. Turn on the phone, and the drawings of magic weapons appear one by one. Liho Sword Chapter 187 Causal Chess Pieces. In the vast starry sky, there are mortal worlds, scattered like sand in the endless starry sky, with no starting point, and no end point, vast and boundless. Above the mortal world, there is a world of supreme grandeur, which is the fairyland. The fairyland is the highest plane, the residence of the immortals, above billions of planes, the origin of all things, the origin of all beings, and the end of all beings. In a fairyland full of flowing flowers, an old man sat in front of a lake, fishing leisurely. The fish hook is a straight line, without bends. A colorful fish jumped up and bit the fish hook. At the moment of biting the fish hook, the colorful fish changed and turned into a black chess piece. Holding this chess piece, the old man savored it carefully, as if he was appreciating a handicraft. Holding the chess piece in his palm, the old man smiled. He got up and put down the fishing rod and came to a stone table, in front of which was a huge chessboard. On the chessboard, lines were crisscrossing and intertwining with each other. On it, there were black and white chess pieces, intertwined with each other, and it was difficult to distinguish them. There were about 49 white chess pieces. There were only 18 black chess pieces. The old man took out the black chess piece and placed it in a position in the middle. Suddenly, the ground changed and turned into a battlefield. The black and white chess pieces on the chessboard changed and turned into cultivators. Some cultivators were only gods, some cultivators were earth immortals, and some cultivators were golden immortals. However, these cultivators looked dull, as if they had lost their spirit. Swish. The next moment, it changed again. It turned into chess pieces. Snap. The old man held the white chess piece in his left hand and the black chess piece in his right hand. The chess pieces were intertwined, and he played against himself. Black and white intertwined, and the chess pieces were changing. At this time, a young man bowed and said, "Greetings, Master. Kanger is here. The world is like a chessboard, and all living beings are like chess pieces. It's just that good chess pieces are hard to find." The old man smiled and said, "The chessboard is this big, with 49 black pieces and 49 white pieces. Now the white pieces are complete, only the black pieces are still missing. Only a few lucky ones are qualified to become chess pieces. Tell me, who among these chess pieces is qualified to be a chess piece?" With a wave of his hand, the shadow of a cultivator appeared, along with their life history. "I choose Suli, the master of the Cheyenne Sao Palace in the Cheyenne realm." Si Kang said, "Suli is extremely talented. He is half human and half demon. He was abandoned by his tribe in his childhood. Later, he left his family and mistakenly entered an immortal's cave, where he obtained 3 volumes of scriptures. He established his foundation at the age of 30, achieved the Purple Palace at the age of 100, and the Golden Core at the age of 200. Now he has reached the level of Hideo cultivation, and can ascend to the immortal world in 1,000 years. Suli is not bad, but he is still a little short. I schemed against him and deprived him of his royal blood in his childhood. Later, he was betrayed by his relatives and poisoned by his Taoist partner. He has an extreme personality. Later, he refined his body into a weapon and his eyes into a sword. He refined a supreme divine eye, and with this eye as the foundation, he evolved a supreme magical power. Time stands still. This person has great potential, and may have a chance to become a golden immortal in the future, but he is not the most suitable. In the lower realm, in the Xuanwu realm, there is a genius named Bichan, who is a 9-yang Dao body. He is already a nascent soul at the age of just 100. Moreover, in the lower realm, in the inferior environment, he forged the 10th revolution supreme golden pill. He is a peerless demon. In the future, he has the hope of becoming a Xuanji. Si Kang said, Bichan is okay, but he is just okay, not the best. Xuanwu was calculated by me. In order to live forever, he cut off all love and killed his wife to prove his Dao. In order to gain strength, he sold his master for glory and killed his son to make pills. In order to live, he did not hesitate to kill his relatives to make blood pills. This person is cruel and is a genius in practicing the magic way. It's a pity that he is not the most suitable. The old man smiled slightly. These geniuses are geniuses, but they are just geniuses. The world is not short of geniuses. Sitting on the high platform, watching geniuses rise and fall one by one, the heart has long been numb. Si Kang said, Master, who do you think is the most suitable? Master, do you think this person is the most suitable? The old man pointed his finger and locked onto a person. Si Kang was stunned and said, this person is just an int from the lower realm with poor qualifications, only 3 spiritual roots, and later he was lucky enough to condense the pure Yang Dao body, but he is essentially shallow. He built his foundation at the age of 50, and he has a purple palace at the age of 180. He is simply a rotten wood that cannot be carved. The qualifications of the previous few people are all better than him. And his personality, he is too soft-hearted, timid and afraid of things. He lacks decisiveness and shrinks when doing things. This person is simply ashamed to the immortal way. It is good enough for him to become a Yuanying by chance. But it is almost impossible to go further. The old man smiled and said, you don't understand. This person is usually timid, but at the critical moment, he is brave and fearless. This person has a strong aura and great luck, and there are infinite possibilities in the future. I conclude that this person has the qualifications of an immortal king. If he does not die in the future, there is a probability that he will become an immortal king. Master, how can he be possible? Si Kang said with a little jealousy. A gentleman hides his weapon and waits for the right time to act. The old man laughed and said, under my calculations, the Jin family was destroyed. Jinzi fled to the East Wilderness with the family feud in mind. There, she lurked and hid, entered the ruins of the Hehuan demon sect, obtained the damaged treasure, beauty picture, and with the help of the yin energy in it, entered the 9th transformation, but she also became a demon girl. After she enters the nascent soul stage, enemies will track her, and her battle with her enemies will further begin. In the process of revenge, she will become evil step by step. For revenge, she will take the male cultivator's energy, smelt yin and yang, reversely practice yin and yang transformation, break the shackles, and enter the god transformation stage. After reaching the god transformation stage, she understood the nameless stone tablet and comprehended the great wish technique, using it to kill her enemies, but she was also seriously injured and died in the fierce battle. When she dies, I will use her bones to smelt the cause and effect chess pieces. It's just that Lu Xuanji suddenly appeared in Zifu, and he understood the Great Wish technique just by being in Zifu, which shows how high his comprehension is. He practiced the art of hiding luck and concealed his own luck, but he couldn't hide it from me. His luck is hundreds of times stronger than that of his peers. Such a person is more suitable to be my causal chess piece than Jinzi. According to my calculations, the Lu family will die because of him, his wife will die because of him, and even his beloved will die because of him. He will also become possessed by the devil because of this, and with the help of the Great Wish technique, he will condense the 11-turn infinite golden elixir, fight all the way, and kill many enemies. He is only 400 years old, but he has reached the peak of the head AO. Then he knocked on the immortal gate and attacked the ninefold immortal calamity, but he died in the calamity because of the evil spirit in his heart. When that time comes, I will just collect his bones and turn him into a causal chess piece. Chapter 188 Great Wish. The old man was swinging the black and white chess pieces with a calm and elegant expression. The world is a chessboard, and all living beings are chess pieces. Who has not been weak, and who is not a chess piece? If you want to be a chess player, you must be a chess piece. When the monks compete, they are already at a disadvantage when it comes to the moment of fighting with supernatural powers, fighting in the dark, using cause and effect as calculations, and laying out the world. That is the best. The fate has arrived, the luck has arrived, and the adventure has arrived. When a monk travels in the world and has an adventure, he also becomes a chess piece and falls into the calculations of the strong. Becoming a chess piece is a good thing, which means there is a chance to change your destiny. Many people have poor understanding and poor qualifications, and they are not even qualified to be chess pieces. Master, what would he do if you didn't interfere? Si Kang asked curiously. The old man smiled and said, originally, his luck was not good enough, and he could only become a 9th level golden elixir at most, and the peak was the transformation of the spirit. But I turned the catastrophe into a plan for the world, which raised his luck. In the future, he can cast an 11th level infinite golden elixir, and enter the peak of the head AO. However, reaching the peak of the head AO is the limit. Once he passes the 9th level of the immortal tribulation, he will definitely die. It's okay to fish, but it's not good if the fish get off the hook. It's okay to raise pigs, but don't raise tigers. When luck comes, he can soar into the sky. When luck goes, it's the moment he dies. On Changyuan Mountain, Xuanji was comprehending the Great Wish technique and had a certain understanding of this immortal magic. Activating the wish rune can consume luck and lifespan, perfect some magical powers, and even improve cultivation. It can be said to be extremely mysterious. The disadvantage is also obvious. Every time it is activated, it consumes a huge amount of luck. Ordinary cultivators will die after their luck is exhausted after activating it once. If you don't have enough luck and your luck is not strong, forcing yourself to practice this technique is almost like seeking death. But even if you are very lucky, you should not easily activate this magic, because it will damage your luck too much, and in many cases, the gains will not outweigh the losses. However, the benefits are also obvious. That is, you can use it to fight to the death. For example, when two monks are fighting, they are evenly matched. But suddenly, when you activate the Great Wish technique, a magical power will be perfected, and you can attack and kill the enemy in an instant. When the Great Wish technique is perfected, you can directly make a great wish to the heaven and earth, and attract the power of the heavenly Dao to descend. There was one Amitabha Buddha who made 48 great wishes to the heavenly Dao, and immediately became a god, and became the Buddha. Not everyone can make a great wish, only the top bosses can make a great wish. By making a great wish, you can use the power of the past, present, and future to suppress everything. Making a great wish is essentially borrowing money from the heavenly Dao. It's like a small person borrowing money from the heavenly Dao, and the heavenly Dao will disdain to pay attention. But if a top strong man borrows money from the heavenly Dao, the heavenly Dao will readily agree. As the saying goes, more debts are better than more burdens. The more money you borrow, the more reasonable it is. You will be worried if you owe hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you will be troubled if you owe millions of dollars. When you owe tens of millions of dollars, you are the boss. When you owe billions of dollars, countless high-ranking officials flatter you. When you owe hundreds of billions of dollars, you are the richest man in the world. But when you owe tens of trillions of dollars, you are the world hegemon. Many times, the difficulty is not how to pay back the debt after owing it, but how to continue to increase the amount of debt after owing it. Many top bosses understand one thing: after borrowing a lot of money, you cannot pay it back, and you can borrow more money. The essence of the Great Wish technique is not usury, not uabi or GB, but teaching people how to borrow money and not pay it back, how to become a deadbeat. This is the correct way to use the Great Wish technique. Lu Xuanji thought crookedly. Therefore, the correct way to use the Great Wish technique is definitely not to consume luck and lifespan, transform it into magical powers and cultivation, but to make a great wish to the heavenly Dao, prove yourself to the heavenly Dao, and borrow endless luck from the heavenly Dao. Thinking of this, Lu Xuanji suddenly realized, this is the correct way to use the Great Wish technique. As for the unknown old age, let's talk about it in my old age. I'm still a child now. Time is passing. In the blink of an eye, another 5 years have passed. The cultivation is still the first level of the Purple Mansion. After reaching the Purple Mansion, the upgrade speed is slower, but he is not in a hurry. Slow is normal. Ask the cultivators in the world, after reaching the Purple Mansion, who is not slow in cultivation, except for a few drug addicts. At this time, there was a sound at the door of the cave. Lu Xuanji opened the cave and saw Lu Xuanwen at the door, looking anxious. What happened? Clan leader, it's bad. Something happened. More than a decade ago, the Lu family obtained the mine in Xuanji village through a sword fight. Over the years, they have been mining black iron ore, with amazing output. According to the family's calculations, they can be mined for another 250 years. But not long ago, an accident happened. In the mine, 3 key training monks disappeared. The 2 foundation building elders of the Lu family went in to investigate, but they disappeared. I feel there is a big problem, so I came to inform the clan leader. Lu Xuanji listened and frowned slightly. Let's go. After hesitating for a moment, Lu Xuanji was ready to go. The Lu family has been prosperous recently, but the foundation building monks are also high level. Now the whereabouts of the 2 foundation building monks are unknown, which is a big problem. At this moment, the elder is in seclusion, and Liu Rumeng is also in seclusion. It seems that he is the only one who has free time, so he can only go. After preparing, he went directly to Xuanji village. At this time, the villagers of Xuanji village had already moved out. There were about 70 Lu family monks here, all of whom were in the key refining stage, with varying levels of cultivation. The spiritual mine was solid and deep, and mortals could not dig it, so monks were needed to do it. The scale of this spiritual mine was huge, and the pits and tunnels inside were long and tall, like an underground maze. He asked about the output of black iron ore. At the beginning, the output of black iron ore was low, but in recent years, the output has reached 3 million katis. If it is smelted, 30,000 katis of black iron can be obtained. In addition, among the black iron ore, there are also rare minerals such as secret gold, black silver, and black iron. The quantity is small, but the price is expensive. Relying on this mineral, the Lu family can bring a net profit of 80,000 spiritual stones every year. As the mine went deeper, Lu Xuanji suddenly stopped and started to dig at a certain position, only to see a ball of monster feces inside. Smelling the feces of the monster, Lu Xuanji frowned slightly. He smelled the breath of a high-level monster in it. It might be the peak of foundation building, or it might be a purple mansion monster. It was a bit troublesome. You guys get out. Lu Xuanji ordered. Lu Xuanwen nodded, and led the Lu family cultivators out. He moved forward cautiously, activating the Lihuo sword in his hand, observing the surroundings vigilantly, ready to deliver a fatal blow at any time. As he kept moving forward, Lu Xuanji felt a little uneasy. At this moment, a 3-foot-long snake appeared. Its body was as white as jade, and it turned into a flash of lightning, and pounced on Lu Xuanji. Chapter 189, Void Stomach. This snake, named Bailing Snake, has a body as white as jade and dragon blood. As it grows, golden lines will appear on its back, and horns will grow on its head, gradually turning into a dragon. It is only 3 feet long, but it is extremely fast, and it pounces on him like lightning. Swish! Lu Xuanji urged the Bushanding to cover it in the air. The body of Bailing Snake flashed, changing its direction, and in a split second, it avoided the Bushanding, and wrapped around Lu Xuanji's neck. Crack! Crack. In an instant, it wrapped around Lu Xuanji's neck and strangled him. The next moment, pure white flames appeared, burning everything. Pure Yang True Fire burns everything, especially restraining demons. Bailing Snake's body trembled, and its body swung open to avoid the burning of the pure Yang True Fire. Lu Xuanji's right hand changed, and the Lihuo sword was in motion, stabbing him. The speed was as fast as a meteor. With a loud noise, the Lihuo sword stabbed at the body of the white spirit snake, but it just trembled slightly and slipped away from the Lihuo sword. The Lihuo sword stabbed directly into the air. The snake's body was wrapped around the Lihuo sword, and in a few flashes, it bit Lu Xuanji's wrist. Swish. Lu Xuanji pinched the seal with his left hand, and runes appeared on his palm, about 30,000 runes. The runes combined together and turned into the Xuanji Heavenly Sword to kill. In an instant, the Xuanji Heavenly Sword slashed at the body of the white spirit snake, and the white spirit snake also bit his wrist. As the blade slashed on it, sparks flew, but the body of the white spirit snake was still cut into 2 pieces and fell to the ground. After the 2 pieces fell to the ground, they did not die, but the broken ends collided with each other and quickly merged together. All the injuries were healed, but the breath was a little weak. The poison bit on the wrist, and the body comparable to the 2nd grade spiritual treasure was bitten through, and a trace of poison flowed along the fangs and injected into the blood. Lu Xuanji's body was numb, and he was slightly nervous. He was about to take the detoxification pill. At this moment, the black carp source blood at the heart position was shaking slightly, and it directly swallowed the snake venom and turned it into nutrients. Instantly, the snake venom disappeared. Lu Xuanji, hiss. Recording this moment, the white spirit snake on the ground was screaming, with a trace of murderous intent flashing in its eyes. On its body, there were murderous auras. In the murderous auras, there were the auras of 2 foundation building monks of the Lu family and more than a dozen key training monks. Obviously, they were eaten by the monster. People eat monsters, and monsters also eat people. Most monsters have low IQs and are confused. If monsters devour humans in large quantities and absorb the spirituality in human souls, they can quickly improve their intelligence and reach the level of middle-aged people. Hiss. The white spirit snake spit out the core, opened its mouth, and kept moving its head, as if ready to pounce at any time. Its eyes were muddled, with confusion and disorder taking over, and it was thinking about eating the human in front of it. Instinct told it that, as long as it ate this human, its cultivation would be greatly improved, and it could refine its horizontal bones and speak. Interesting, a purple mansion monster, but its IQ is a bit low. Lu Xuanji frowned slightly, feeling that something was wrong with this white spirit snake, mainly because its IQ was a bit low, and it seemed that it was not worthy of the purple mansion monster at all. When monsters reach the purple mansion realm, they can transform into human form, refine their horizontal bones, and speak, and their IQ is no different from that of ordinary humans. But this white spirit snake only has the cultivation of the purple mansion, and only has the fighting instinct of the purple mansion, but it is muddled, with a low IQ, and is no different from ordinary beasts. It is still the instinct of the beast that dominates. Hiss. The white spirit snake chirped and made a soul-stirring sound. Suddenly, Lu Xuanji felt that his soul was unstable, as if his soul was about to leave his body. He practiced the skills to suppress the soul-stirring sound, but his head was buzzing. The body of the white spirit snake suddenly grew larger, from 3 feet long to 3 feet long, and turned into a giant python, opening its bloody mouth and swallowing directly. Whoosh. With just a crisp sound, Lu Xuanji was swallowed in mid-air. After swallowing, the body of the white spirit snake suddenly shrank and turned into 3 feet long. It sat cross-legged in place, operating its innate magical power to digest the food. The white spirit snake has 3 major magical powers, namely, poison, soul capture, and void stomach. Void stomach evolved from the stomach, which is a vast void that can be infinitely large or infinitely small. It can eat spiritual stones, spiritual minerals, spiritual medicines, etc., and transform them into cultivation. Entering the void stomach almost cuts off the possibility of escape. Any food that enters the void stomach will only continue to weaken and eventually die. The void changed, and Lu Xuan appeared in a space. Here is the stomach space of the white spirit snake. It was grey all around. There was no sky or earth, only the grey mist was eternal. In the void grey vortices flashed, generating a fierce suction force. Lu Xuanji urged the Lihuo sword to kill the vortex, and the vortex was split immediately, but in the next moment, another vortex swept in, and was broken by the Lihuo sword again. One vortex after another, continuous, surging, sweeping everything, melting everything. In at most an hour, I will be eroded by the dissolving force and turned into blood. Xuanji thought, flying forward, flying 300 miles, but not reaching the end. The white spirit snake is only a purple mansion cultivation. Its stomach can't be 300 miles big, but it uses space illusion to confuse me like a mortal trapped in the desert and can't get out no matter what. Xuanji frowned, and a trace of annoyance flashed in his heart. Among the three great magical powers of the white spirit snake, the most powerful one is not poison or soul capture, but void stomach. The demon race has many magical powers, which are strange and powerful. If you are careless, it is easy to overturn. It is best not to give the enemy a chance to use their magical powers. Kill the enemy before they use their magical powers or interrupt their spells. Suppressing his impatience, Xuanji suddenly thought of something. He opened Baidu map, and the map of the surroundings was immediately displayed. Void stomach is only 10 feet high, 100 feet long and wide, and is not endless, but it has the power of space inside. The interference of the space vortex creates an illusion that flying 300 miles is still not the end, or that it is boundless. Flying 300 miles is just his illusion. In fact, he only flew less than 10 meters. Under the interference of space, he is almost standing still. He urged Pure Yang True Fire to attack upwards and was about to attack the stomach wall. But under the interference of the force of space, Pure Yang True Fire only attacked less than 10 meters before dissipating. As his true essence was being consumed, Xuanji was thinking about how to break it. Suddenly, he thought of something, and the golden light under his feet flashed, turning into a golden light and disappearing into the distance. Golden light of the earth. At this moment, the force of space surged and was about to interfere with the spell. But the golden light flashed, breaking the interference of the force of space and directly hitting the stomach wall. Swish. At this moment, Xuanji urged Pure Yang True Fire to burn the stomach wall. Whoosh. Pure Yang True Fire can only be considered average in terms of attack power, not top level, but it can be considered top level in terms of restraining demons. As the flame burned, the stomach wall was broken. Xuanji jumped out and flew outside. A 3-foot white snake was struggling on the ground. Collect. Xuanji's mind moved, and he urged the Bushinding to collect it into the Bushinding. Swish. Pure Yang Fire burned. After struggling for only a moment, the white spirit snake died on the spot. He breathed a sigh of relief, and was about to continue to urge it to refine it into the Ki Bushan, but suddenly he thought of something. He threw the body of the white spirit snake into the Shinding, and began to refine it. About an hour later, the body of the white spirit snake disappeared, leaving only a fist-sized blood essence. The 9 changes of fish and dragon can kill monsters, absorb their blood, and evolve into the life god. Zhang took the blood essence of the white spirit snake and urged the 9 changes of fish and dragon to start refining. Suddenly, his body was scorching hot, and hallucinations appeared in his mind, as if he had turned into a carp, constantly evolving, turning into Kunpeng, turning into Kinglong, turning into Teoti, turning into Taiyangzuz Heo, turning into Taiyan Yaohuo, turning into Kaianki, turning into Teo Wu, and turning into Hundun. Among the cultivators, the mortal body is much inferior to the special physique, whether in terms of cultivation speed, understanding the great way, or improving combat power. But the mortal body also has advantages, that is, a blank sheet of paper is easy to paint. It has the possibility of unlimited transformation, and can be transformed into any special physique. Carp, at the bottom of the monster beasts, has weak blood, but because of its weakness, it is like a blank sheet of paper, with the possibility of smearing and transformation at will. The 9 changes of fish and dragon is derived from this inheritance. It can absorb the essence and blood of monster beasts, and evolve the innate magical powers of monster beasts into its own innate magical powers. It is said that he transforms everything and uses it for me. But suddenly, 3 light balls appeared in the divine mind, representing the 3 magical powers: poison, soul capture, and void stomach. Without a moment's hesitation, Xuanji directly chose void stomach. The 2 light balls disappeared, leaving only 1 light ball. But At this moment, the stomach was heating up, and a trace of mysterious power was transforming the stomach into the void stomach. About half a day later, the stomach transformation was completed. At this time, the stomach had already transformed into the void stomach. The stomach was transformed into a space that was more than 10 feet high and 3 feet long. There was a space vortex surging in the space, and the power of space was rising and falling. The gastric juice turned into a terrifying dissolving force. Take out a spiritual stone, bite it directly, and put it into the stomach. The stomach was peristaltic, and it digested a spiritual stone in just 10 minutes. The spiritual stone was decomposed into spiritual energy, part of which nourished the flesh and strengthened the body, and part of it was transformed into true essence, entering the danshan and stored. The digestive capacity was greatly improved, and the stomach was no longer a dispensable existence. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190, Washing the Spiritual Lotus, Master Xuanji. After cultivating immortals, one becomes stronger and stronger, but one also loses something accordingly. After cultivating immortals, cultivators can inhale and exhale spiritual energy to make up for their own losses. Unless they encounter spiritual rice or particularly delicious food, cultivators rarely eat. As a result, the stomach becomes a redundant organ. Gradually, they lose their appetite and the joy of being full. But after having the void stomach, Xuanji feels his stomach rumbling and wants to eat. The desire for food and the impulse for food are back again. At the same time, the menu is also increasing. You can eat spiritual stones, spiritual minerals, spiritual medicines, spiritual treasures, tree leaves, grass on the ground, and even soil. Except for not eating people. Everything in the world can be eaten. Eat everything, decompose everything, and everything will turn into nutrients, nourishing the body and strengthening the cultivation. In terms of improving cultivation, in addition to being able to inhale and exhale spiritual energy, to improve cultivation like traditional cultivators, you can also eat directly and improve your cultivation by eating. Originally, it was planned to upgrade one level in 25 years, but now it seems that it doesn't take that long. Void stomach is used to eat and assist in cultivation. This is the right way. As for directly swallowing and refining, the power is very good, but the corresponding disadvantages are also great. However, if you encounter a powerful character, the stomach wall will be broken, and you may die on the spot. The golden light of the earth is not only in speed, but also in breaking the space confinement and the formation confinement. It has an outstanding performance. It seems that the understanding of this supreme magical power is still a little inferior. Xuanji thought, and began to explore the secrets of the mine. The appearance of a white spirit snake here is abnormal in itself. Continuing to move forward, when he reached a position, he pushed gently, but a golden light flashed. His arm was numb on the spot. There is a formation here. According to the grade, it should belong to the 4th grade. It cannot be broken by non-giant cultivators. However, with the passage of time, the power of the formation has been declining. It only takes a purple mansion cultivator to break it. Xuanji drew out the Lihuo sword and slashed in front. The golden light flashed, resisting the sword energy, and soon the sword energy dissipated. Another sword followed another, stabbing out continuously. After stabbing out 18 swords, the golden light shattered, and the stone wall split open. Following the broken stone wall, he entered. It was suddenly clear inside, as if he had entered a brand new world. Looking at the scene around him, it was clearly a cultivator's cave. Just sensing the dust on the ground, a long time had passed. As for the white spirit snake, it seemed to have escaped from this cave. Walking around in the cave at will, opening the stone door and looking ahead, he was immediately stunned. I saw the spirit stones piled up together, about 10 meters high. How many spirit stones are there? Xuanji was stunned. He opened the storage bag, but frowned, because the storage bag couldn't fit. For the first time, he felt that the storage bag seemed a little small. Thinking of the void stomach, He directly put these into the stomach and stored them. Roughly estimated, there are about 8.5 million spirit stones. Make a fortune. He came to a stone table again, on which were 2 storage bags and a jade box. He opened the first storage bag, which contained spirit stones. The spirit stones had delicate patterns and the spiritual energy was even richer. This was a medium grade spirit stone, about 100,000 in total. He opened the second storage bag again, which contained 100 spirit stones, but they were of the highest grade. He took a deep breath and opened the jade box. There was only 1 spirit stone, but Xuanji's arms were shaking because this was a top grade spirit stone. Snap. He closed the jade box again, but he was excited in his heart. Low grade spirit stones, 8 million. Medium grade spirit stones, 100,000. Top grade spirit stones, 100. Top grade spirit stones, 1. Generally speaking, 1 medium grade spirit stone is equivalent to 100 low grade spirit stones. 1 top grade spirit stone is equivalent to 100 medium grade spirit stones. And 1 top grade spirit stone is equivalent to 100 top grade spirit stones. But in fact, it is not calculated like this at all. 1 medium grade spirit stone can be easily exchanged for 100 low grade spirit stones, but 100 low grade spirit stones cannot be exchanged for 1 medium grade spirit stone. In the world of cultivating immortals, spirit stones are not only a currency for cultivation, but also a resource for cultivation. After reaching the purple mansion, the cultivation speed of cultivators will become very slow. After absorbing low-grade spirit stones, they often need medium-grade spirit stones to increase the speed of cultivation. As for high-grade spirit stones, they are often the trading currency and cultivation resources of giant Yuanying. As for top-grade spirit stones, they are even more rare. Maybe a top-grade spirit stone may be born in a large spirit stone vein. Top grade spirit stones can be used to break through major bottlenecks. Even if the spiritual energy inside is exhausted, it can be naturally replenished. The value is beyond words. It is enough to attract Yuanying's engine to take action and destroy the family. Only Yuanying's engine is qualified to keep top grade spirit stones. If other cultivators have top grade spirit stones, they are guilty. Put it away directly and put it in the storage bag. But it is still not safe. So put it directly into the void stomach. They arrived at another stone chamber and saw a pool in the middle with 3 green lotuses in the pool. 4th grade cleansing spirit lotus. Xuanji trembled slightly and joy flashed in his eyes. On the road of cultivation, in order to pursue speed, it is inevitable to take a lot of pills, and there will be pill poison deposited in the body. Pill poison erodes the physique of the cultivator, slowing down the cultivation speed of the cultivator in the later stage. It also increases the bottleneck and increases the difficulty of breakthrough. But if you don't take pills, you won't have the present, let alone the future. The cleansing spirit lotus can cleanse the pill poison in the body and can wash away 7 layers of pill poison. The 1st and 2nd grade cleansing spirit lotus is nothing, but when it comes to the 3rd and 4th grades, it is extremely rare. The 3rd grade cleansing spirit lotus is useful for purple mansion cultivators. The 4th grade cleansing spirit lotus is useful for golden elixir cultivators. This is a supreme fortune. Xuanji looked at it, picked it carefully, and then put it in the jade box and preserved it. Entering the bedroom, I saw torn clothes and ashes on the platform. About 10 meters away from the platform, there was a storage bag. I opened the storage bag and found more than a dozen jade slips. I roughly flipped through it and found 3 volumes of exercises, 5 magical skills, a book of alchemy notes, and a personal diary. When I opened the personal diary, there were flashes of light and shadows, and a man's voice appeared, revealing the news about the owner of the cave. The owner of this cave is called Xuanji's engine. Xuanji's engine, who cultivated to the 9th level of the nascent soul, and was about to break through to the god transformation, failed and turned into ashes on the spot. Most of the resources in the cave are used to buy elixirs or spiritual objects to assist in breakthroughs. Therefore, the cave is empty, with only some worthless things left. Wish you a good journey, senior, Xuanji said, and lit a stick of incense here. After paying his respects a few times, he began to search the cave, and only disappeared after making sure that nothing was missed. Chapter 191 The Great Elder's Self-Mockery. After just saying hello and arranging everything, Xuanji returned to the cave. He began to refine the spiritual liquid and improve his cultivation. He ate spiritual stones, spiritual ores, etc. And after being digested by the void stomach, his cultivation steadily improved. In his spare time, he went to the medicine garden and looked after the 3rd grade and 4th grade spiritual medicines. They grew very vigorously and were getting closer and closer to maturity. Time was like flowing water. In the 5th year, Xuanji's aura was improving. He broke through the shackles and entered the 2nd level of the Purple Mansion. In just 20 years, he improved 1 level. Sensing the speed of cultivation, Xuanji was very satisfied. When he came out of retreat, he flipped through the account book and counted the family assets. Last year, the Lu family earned 300,000 spiritual stones and spent 280,000 spiritual stones. There were also some other spiritual medicines, spiritual ores, etc., which also had a lot of income. The Lu family developed healthily, and the situation was very good. Of course, there were also many problems. After a greeting, a dark shadow appeared in the dark. The shadow did not speak, but directly handed over an account book. This is the dark account of the Dark Guard. Where there is light, there must be shadow. Where there is white gloves, there must be black gloves. There are many things that the Lu family cannot do, so there are some black gloves who are responsible for the dirty work and also supervise behind the scenes. So, there are Dark Guards. The Dark Guards are to keep an eye on family members and monitor whether they have any illegal behavior, collude with outsiders, or sell out family interests, etc. These things cannot be put on the table and can only be investigated privately by the Dark Guards. After handing over the account book, the Dark Guard disappeared. Xuanji opened the dark account and read it page by page. He read it 3 times in a row, and the more he looked, the more solemn his expression became. Of course, it is impossible to trust the Dark Guard's account book. There may be water in it, and it has 7 levels of authenticity. But even so, the Lu family still had many problems. Some people in the store sold low and sold high, embezzling some spiritual stones. Some cultivators colluded with the cultivator bandits to plot against customers. Some cultivators stole the family's finances and sold them outside. And some cultivators sold some family intelligence to outsiders. There were many problems of all kinds. It's time to kill people. It's time to eliminate some scum and dregs in the family. Xuanji thought, but his expression was cold and there was no extra emotion. Up to now, the Lu family has 1,800 cultivators, including 50 foundation building cultivators and 2 Purple Mansion cultivators. There is no difference between them and the Danliang sect in essence. If you have to distinguish them, one is called a sect and the other is called a family, but they are essentially similar. Thinking carefully, he has been the patriarch for more than 100 years. During his term of office, he was more than gracious, but not majestic enough. He gave benefits to each stage, and lifted the restrictions on foundation building pills. The treatment of some geniuses was improved, and the treatment of foundation building cultivators was also improved, which made many Lu family cultivators feel uncomfortable with him. But correspondingly, since he took office, he did not punish, or even kill a Lu family cultivator, which made him lack of majesty. He gave people the feeling of being a mother-in-law, and trying to smooth things over. Not long after, the elder came out of retreat. Xuanji met the elder, handed over the secret account, and said his thoughts. It's time to clear some people. The elder flipped through the account book and nodded. In fact, the secret account only records some situations. In reality, there is a problem that is more serious than what is recorded above. Killing is necessary, but how do you plan to kill? Those cultivators who intercept and kill guests should be killed. Those who collude with the cultivators and sell the information of guests should be killed. Those who collude with the demon clan and sell some forbidden items to the demon clan should be killed. Those who sell family intelligence should be severely punished, even if they are not killed. Those who embark on the path of magic and practice the magic skills should be killed. Xuanji spoke, murderous, and said the word kill several times in a row, without any mercy. The elder nodded and said, some people advocate cultivating immortals, being upright, treating friends sincerely, and making more good friends when interacting with others. But some people who cultivate immortals advocate being ruthless and cruel. If you are not ruthless, you cannot gain a foothold in society. And if you are not ruthless, you cannot cultivate immortals. What do you think? Xuanji said. Elder, what do you mean? The elder said, some people say that the world is black and bad people are the majority. Some people say that the world is white and good people are the majority. But in my opinion, the world is grey and good people and bad people are mixed together. Am I right? Xuanji nodded and said, the elder is right. It's like in the previous life. Some people killed and set fires in the primitive capital accumulation stage, doing all kinds of evil, trampling on the bottom line of morality and the bottom line of humanity. But when they became rich and successful, they immediately whitewashed themselves and soon turned themselves into saints. Have they changed? No. If it can bring enough benefits, many people are willing to be good people and saints all their lives. Even if their hearts are full of evil, they still have to pretend for a lifetime. But if it can bring enough benefits, many people don't mind throwing away the mask of the saint, turning into a big devil overnight, and destroying tens of millions of people. The elder said, but why do you keep harping on these issues? Many things are out of sight, out of mind. They should be killed. But some people can be killed, and some people can't be killed. The elder said, and began to mark on the list, and finally wrote, these people can be killed, these people can't be killed. No, these people should be killed. These people can't be killed, they are still useful. Just like that, the patriarch and the elder had their first quarrel. After the quarrel, the patriarch took a step back. The elder also took a step back. If the water is too clear, there will be no fish. Establishing family rules has never been for fairness and justice, but just to establish order, said the elder. You have a point. Xuanji said with a smile. If the Lu family is just a purple mansion family, the old family rules are enough. But if you want to go further and become a golden elixir family, you must be strict. These people must be killed. You are gifted and talented, but it takes at least 200 years to enter the golden elixir. It's still a bit far to say now. Is it far? Xuanji said with a smile. Great elder, look at this. He said to throw a box. What is this? The great elder opened the box carelessly and looked at the lotus inside. He changed from calm to horror and then to joy. Haha, this is the 4th grade cleansing spirit lotus. It can wash away the poison of the elixir. It will be very good for you. If you take it, the probability of achieving the golden elixir can be increased by 1 level. No, this is for you to take. Xuanji said. Me. The great elder listened and laughed. Take it for me. Are you kidding? It's a waste for an old loser like me to take the 4th grade cleansing spirit lotus. You should use it. Chapter 192 Regaining the Heart of Tao. A person should have self-knowledge. At the beginning, he was also called a genius. He built his foundation at the age of 50. He was also valued by an elder of the Danliang sect, and was also well known in the Lu family. But later, he realized it. He was only a genius in the Lu family. In the huge Chu state, he was just an ordinary character. Only those with spiritual roots, different spiritual roots, special physiques, etc. are qualified to be called geniuses. Later, he became a purple mansion, but it was only a low-grade purple mansion, and the probability of achieving a golden elixir was less than 1%. It would be a waste to give it to me. The elder refused directly. You should take it. When you reach the purple mansion realm, just relying on the inhalation and exhalation of spiritual energy, the speed of cultivation will be very slow. It is best to take more pills. But pills will have pill poison, and will damage the human body. The 4th grade cleansing spirit lotus will be of great benefit to you. I still have a cleansing spirit lotus. Xuanji said. You can give this one to Xuanji. Xuanji is your Taoist partner, and has 2 spiritual roots, which is just right for the cleansing spirit lotus. The elder refused again. In this adventure, I got 3 spirit cleansing lotuses, one for me, one for the great elder, and one for Xuanji. Xuanji smiled and said, it is said that the great elder has been living a very comfortable life these years. He has taken in 3 female cultivators as concubines. Now there are 15 concubines in the Great Elder's room, and 100 sons and daughters. But the Great Elder's cultivation is only at the second level of the Purple Mansion, which is too inferior. Great Elder, you should not be obsessed with women, you should focus on cultivation. I know that the Great Elder's aptitude is a little inferior, and the probability of entering the Golden Core is only 1%, but no matter how low the probability is, there is still a glimmer of hope. I hope the Great Elder will not give up. This time outside, I had some adventures. If with the help of these adventures, the Great Elder has a double probability, and can try his luck at the Golden Core. Xuanji was talking about the opportunity he got in the Zenjin cave in Zaojia village, and was about to talk about what he had gained in the cave. Stop. The elder said, don't tell me how much you have gained, and what treasures are hidden in that cave, and I don't want to hear it. Many times, it is safer to keep each other private. Don't tell me some things, and don't tell your Taoist partner. Xuanji nodded and said, I know. Elder, I have gained some gains in the cave, and I can give them to you appropriately. I hope that you will not give up on yourself, but continue to practice. Cultivating immortals is an elimination game. Many cultivators walk, and they can't see the direction ahead, so they choose to give up. They begin to indulge in beauty, and indulge in the pleasures of the mortal world. Just like the elder, who is a low-grade purple mansion, has poor qualifications, and the probability of entering the golden elixir is extremely low. He can't see the hope of the future, so he chooses to manage the family affairs, or indulge in beauty, and gradually gives up cultivation. He spends less time on cultivation. It has been 120 years since he entered the Purple Mansion realm, but he is only the second level of the Purple Mansion. Xuanji was very dissatisfied, and now he persuaded him to be firm in his determination to seek the truth, and not give up. The elder said, I only have 200 years left to live. Is this okay? Of course. Even a salted fish should have dreams. Just in case it succeeds. Xuanji said, opportunities are always reserved for those who don't give up. If you choose to give up like the elder, you really don't have a single chance. The elder Hafisi said, the family has limited annual income. After deducting various expenses, there is not much left for you. If you, me, and Xuanji are added, it is simply impossible to support 3 Purple Mansion monks. The family cannot be egalitarian. Some people are destined to be abandoned. Resources are limited. Even though the Lu family seems to be prosperous now, it is actually still tight. In terms of resource allocation, priority is given to those with good qualifications and great understanding. As for those with poor qualifications, poor understanding, and those with limited potential, it is not that they are abandoned, but that very few resources are given. It seems unfair, but there is no such thing as fairness in the world. After a while, the third grade spiritual medicine should be mature. Then you can take the pill and enter the high-speed period of cultivation. Xuanji said, I can't guarantee too much about other things, but I can guarantee that the elder can enter the 9th level of the Purple Mansion in his lifetime. As for the golden pill, I haven't entered the golden pill yet, so I can't make big promises for the time being. The elder smiled and said, there are many Purple Mansion cultivators in the world, and there may be less than one cultivator who has entered the 9th level of the Purple Mansion. This promise is a bit big. After this persuasion, the elder came to his senses. Soon after, he became pure, and began to abstain from sex. He was no longer obsessed with beauty, but focused on cultivation. 2 years later, the pure yang grass matured. There were not many in number, only 2 plants. After harvesting these spiritual medicines, they were replanted later. Only in this way can there be a continuous supply and sustainable development. Elder, you refine the pill first. I will refine the pill later, after learning and comprehending. This is pure yang grass. Xuanji handed over a piece of pure yang grass, and said with a smile, okay. After receiving the pure yang grass, the elder's arms were shaking, and he was extremely excited. The price of pure yang grass was only 40,000 spiritual stones. The price was not expensive, but it was out of stock on the market. There was no place to get it, and it was impossible to buy it. On the market, only pure yang pills were sold, not pure yang grass. After receiving the pure yang grass, he collected other medicinal materials, ignited the earth fire, and began to refine the pill. Among the many medicinal materials of pure yang pills, pure yang grass is the main material, the most expensive and rare. As for some other auxiliary medicinal materials, they are not only easy to obtain, but also not expensive. All kinds of medicinal materials added together only cost 50,000 spiritual stones. As the earth fire burned, the elder began to increase the temperature of the furnace fire, and began to warm the furnace. When the temperature of the pill furnace reached a certain level, an auxiliary medicinal material was thrown in, and the flame temperature was controlled to refine it into liquid medicine. Then, one by one, the medicinal materials were thrown into the pill furnace. The last medicinal material thrown in was a pure yang grass. In the process of refining the pill, it was smooth and mysterious. It was like appreciating a work of art. Xuanji watched with a glimmer of joy in his eyes. Practice makes perfect. Alchemy depends on talent and proficiency. It is hard to say whether the elder has a talent for alchemy, but his proficiency is very high, and his control of the medicinal power is perfect. At the same time, the mobile phone was filming, recording, and analyzing. The process of alchemy was slow and orderly. After 7 days and 7 nights, the ground fire went out. When the lid of the alchemy furnace was opened, 3 pure yang pills flew out. 3 pure yang pills, low grade, okay. The elder smiled. This time the alchemy was not bad. It succeeded in one go, and 3 pills were produced. Chapter 193 Dual Cauldron Alchemy. At the low level, if you fail several times or even dozens of times, the loss of medicinal materials is limited, and the loss of spiritual stones is not large. But at the advanced stage, medicinal materials are scarce, and there is only one at many times. Failure is not allowed at all. The elder controlled the rhythm, and the rhythm was perfect. The first time he succeeded in refining the elixir. 3 pure yang pills, 1 for me, 1 for you, and 1 for you, said the elder. Yes. Xuanji nodded. The elder nodded, and began to put the pills into the pill bottle, 1 for each person. After saying goodbye to the elder, Xuanji returned to the cave. He opened his mouth, and swallowed the pure yang pill. The pure yang pill is useful for foundation building cultivators and purple mansion cultivators. Taking a pure yang pill can save a purple mansion cultivator 3 years of hard training, and its efficiency is far higher than the absorption of spiritual energy. The disadvantage is that it is too expensive. The price of the pure yang pill is 150,000 spiritual stones, and every time you take it, you are burning money. As the main medicinal material, the pure yang grass needs to be 1,000 years old before it can be used as medicine. The 3rd grade and 4th grade spiritual plant masters can use the method of ripening to speed up the maturation of spiritual medicines and shorten the growth time. But it is still too expensive and rare. As the pill is taken, the void stomach is running and digesting the medicinal power of the pill. After about 3 months, the medicinal power is completely digested. You can feel the poison of the pill, which is deposited in the flesh, in the bones, and in the muscles. It is very small and inconspicuous. When the cultivator inhales and exhales spiritual energy, he will also subconsciously eliminate the toxins in the body, and the poison will also be eliminated. It takes about 10 years for most of the poison to be eliminated, and then he can continue to take the pure yang pill. It is not much different from what is recorded in the classics. If taken without restraint, it will cause the poison to accumulate in the body. When the cultivator advances, the poison will attack and usually take the cultivator's life. Xuanji's mind moved, and he operated the pure yang dao body. Immediately, a pure white flame rose in the body, wandering around the body, helping to refine the poison. Under the burning of the pure yang true fire, the poison was decomposed and turned into traces of medicinal power that were absorbed and digested by the body. The speed of the poison decomposition was accelerating. Instead of 10 years, it only took 8 years to take the 2nd pure yang pill. Haha, is this considered cheating? Xuanji laughed. Feeling the pure yang dao body decomposing the poison, and the void stomach digesting the food, and the spiritual liquid of the swallowing heaven cauldron, and the medicine garden providing spiritual medicine, refining the pill. It may only take more than 150 years to reach the 9th level of the purple mansion. This feeling is like someone in the early days of starting a business. It is difficult to earn 1 million, but at a certain stage, it is easy to earn 1 billion. Suppressing the joy in his heart, Lu Xuanji took out a pure yang grass and began to refine the pure yang pill. He took out the bushanding, warmed the pill furnace, and was about to refine the pill. But suddenly he thought of something and directly abandoned the bushanding and used the swallowing heaven cauldron to refine the pill. Kai. This time, he used the pure yang true fire to refine the elixir. With the flame burning, he refined the spiritual medicine and began to refine the elixir in an orderly manner. About 3 days later, he opened the elixir furnace. 9 pills flew out, exuding pure elixir aura, fragrant and delicious. 9. Not bad. Lu Xuanji smiled. When refining elixirs, the average alchemist can produce about 3 pills, a few can produce 5 or 6, and a very few can produce 9. 9 is the ultimate elixir that can be produced by the elixir furnace. According to legend, only a 5th grade alchemist can produce 9 pills in one furnace. Lu Xuanji estimated that his elixir refining level was barely at the 3rd grade. Normally, he could only produce 2 or 3 pills. But with the help of the heaven swallowing cauldron, the elixir production rate was increased. Then, he threw pills into the heaven swallowing cauldron one by one to refine the elixir for the 2nd time. The second elixir refining is mainly to remove the elixir poison and improve the elixir quality. 3 days later, the pure yang elixir came out of the furnace. The elixir toxicity was decreasing and the quality was improving from low grade to high grade. He was happy because he had found a new alchemy mode. The first time the Xuanji cauldron refined the elixir, the rate of elixir production was increased. The second time the Xuanji cauldron refined the elixir, the quality of the elixir was improved. The efficiency and quality of the 2 cauldrons were amazing. With a thought, he took out a blue bushan key, and it appeared in his palm. He felt that, if he hit this blue bushan key into the high-grade pure yang pill thunder, the quality of the elixir could be improved from high grade to top grade. But this was meaningless and the loss was quite large. After all, a blue bushan key was equivalent to a purple mansion monster. He only had 2 left in his hand. It seemed a loss to waste blue bushan key to improve the quality of the elixir. The high-grade pure yang pill was enough, and there was no need to improve the quality again. According to the quality of the elixir and the ratio of elixir toxicity, the low-grade pure yang pill was taken once every 10 years, the middle-grade pure yang pill was taken once every 5 years, the high-grade pure yang pill was taken once every 3 years, and the top-grade pure yang pill was taken once a year. According to the ripening time, the next batch of medicinal materials will mature in about 30 years and can be harvested. The interval between taking the pill is too short, which is not very meaningful. Zifu pill can also assist cultivators in their cultivation and reduce 4 years of hard cultivation. You can take Zifu pill and Xunjiang pill alternately and take 1 pill every 5 years on average. Lu Xuanji smiled and sighed in his heart. There are more and more resources, and the probability of breaking through the golden elixir is also increasing. In the key training stage, only Bayang rice and a few spiritual stones are taken. When it comes to foundation building, there are Jade Emperor rice, Bushan key, spiritual liquid, Xinyuan pill, Chunayang Dao body, etc., which are also many resources. In the Zifu stage, there are Chunayang Dao body, void stomach, top grade Chunayang pill, top grade Zifu pill, many spiritual liquids, spiritual stones, etc., and there are more resources. Resources are increasing, the speed of cultivation is accelerating, breaking through the bottleneck, and the probability of proving the golden elixir is also increasing. The only disadvantage is that some resources have to be distributed to his Taoist partner Yuan, i.e., the Great Elder, and other cultivators in the family. Invisibly, there are fewer resources, and his cultivation speed will be slower. However, these are natural. If you become stingy and selfish at the end of your cultivation, it is better not to cultivate such an immortal. If you become alone, and become a lonely immortal at the end of your cultivation, such an immortal is also boring. The next day, Lu Xuanji saw the Great Elder, and showed him the top grade pure yang pill. The Great Elder was stunned. He was silent, and didn't know what to say. Xuanji, it's best not to tell anyone about these things. Lu Xuanji smiled and said, I'm not stupid, so I won't tell anyone. The top grade pure yang pill can only be digested internally. The pills sold outside still need to be refined by the great elder. After the excitement, the world returned to peace. 3 years later, suddenly a breath approached Changyuan Mountain. Lu Xuanji's mind moved and flew out of the cave. A female cultivator descended, wearing a red palace skirt, crystal clear skin, and a phoenix bun on her head. She wore exquisite pearl flowers on her head, looking graceful and noble. It was Xuanji. At this time, she had broken through to the purple palace, looking youthful and lively. Chapter 194, Reunion. In the cave, there is a huge bed. The golden bed is inlaid with golden jade, and the center of the bed is decorated with lotus flowers. The golden curtains are decorated with large and gorgeous tassels. This bed is 5 meters long and 3 meters wide, and you can roll around as much as you want. The incense burner is filled with green smoke, and the faint fragrance fills the room. The battle has just ended. Xuanji gently nestled in his arms, looking lazy and elegant. There is a blush on her face, her beautiful eyes are flashing, and she is wearing a snow-like gauze dress. She is more beautiful than flowers, radiant, and beautiful beyond words. The fragrance is floating, charming, and moving. After parting, it has been 60 years since we met. The long time has precipitated love and brewed passion. After meeting each other, there are not many words, only endless battles, which can tell each other's thoughts. Leaning in his arms, Xuanji said, I originally planned to retreat for 50 years and break through to the upper grade purple mansion. But in the end, I still underestimated the difficulty of the upper grade purple mansion. I retreated for 55 years and almost died. Everything is over. The future will be better. Lu Xuanji comforted. Husband, when I was going through the nightmare, I almost thought I was going to die. But when I thought of you, I felt endless reluctance in my heart and insisted on it. Xuanji said, emotionally moved. It's also fortunate that I broke through. Otherwise, it would be the moment of our life and death. Recalling the heavenly fire and the nightmare, she was afraid in her heart, and in the fear, there was a faint sense of relief. At the time of retreat, she was already 180 years old, and it took 55 years to break through in retreat, and she almost failed. If she failed, she would be a corpse at this moment. No, it should be burned by the heavenly fire, and turned into ashes, and even the corpse could not be preserved. There would be no love between men and women like now. Don't worry. Lu Xuanji comforted. In the past, I was too weak, and I had too few resources, so my help to you was limited. But now that I have become Zifu, resources are also increasing, and I will definitely help you become a golden elixir. We, as husband and wife, will share freedom and immortality. Eternal life is so difficult. The more you know, the weaker you feel. The probability of me becoming a golden elixir is not high. My husband, let's have a child. Xuanji said tenderly. Why? It's a little early now. Lu Xuanji said, giving birth to a child now will damage your vitality, and will not be conducive to achieving the golden elixir. Besides, after giving birth to a child, you will have to take care of the child, and will have no time to practice. Let's talk about it later. But I still want a child. Xuanji said firmly, I estimated that it is not difficult to enter the 9th level of the purple mansion, but the probability of entering the golden elixir is very slim. I also want to leave a child for my husband, leave our descendants, and our descendants will be endless. Isn't this a kind of immortality? Not good. Lu Xuanji smiled and said, let's talk about the child later. I don't want to wait until 100 years later. I'm still alive, but you have turned into dust. Have some confidence. Look at what this is. He took out a pill bottle from the storage bag and handed it over. Xuanji curiously opened the bottle and smelled the pill smell, which was the smell of Chunayang pill. But the next moment, it changed color. This is the pure yang pill, and it's top grade. Not long ago, the pure yang grass matured, and I started to refine a furnace of pills. Lu Xuanji said, with a hint of boasting in his words. Talking about the maturity of the spiritual medicine, the pill yield, and the quality of the pills. There are some things that should be revealed to this Taoist companion. These secrets can increase the Taoist companion's self-confidence. The courage of a cultivator comes from strength and resources. a 4th grade primary spiritual plant master and a 3rd grade top level alchemist. My husband is really amazing. With these resources, my husband can expect to have a golden elixir. After being delighted, Xuanji was worried, but if these resources are given to me, my husband will have fewer resources, which will affect your cultivation speed. It doesn't matter, there will be an impact, but it won't be a big one. Xuanji said, but you have to be obedient, be more obedient. Why? If this goes on, I will drag you down, affect your speed, and affect your future. It will be very detrimental to your future development. You should be a little selfish. This is even more true for cultivating immortals. You are my Taoist partner. For some things, you have to give up appropriately. My husband, I love you. With a love word, the flame burned again. Sensing the love, Xuanji's love for him was deepening at this time. The love was entangled in her soul, and the love was lingering and continuous. It was achieved, because of mutual affection and entanglement. Transformed into mandarin ducks and butterflies, evolving into the shape of Tekai Pisces, mandarin ducks intertwined, flew side by side, evolving into a state of mutual life and death. The feelings were heating up, from love deeper than the sea, to life and death. For him, I cannot avoid life and death. For him, I can give up the world. He is the whole world. Feeling the continuous friendship, Xuanji was slightly disappointed. Because his feelings for Xuanji always stayed at deep affection, and there was still a long way to go from life and death. This is probably the difference between men and women. Women tend to be emotional, and they can give up everything for love. In many moments, love is the whole world, but men tend to be rational, and love is only a part of life, just the seasoning of life, and there are many things that are above love. In terms of status, love may be the 3rd or even the 4th. As yin-yang transformation was running, the spiritual energy in the void entered Xuanji's acupoints and then was refined into the danshan, turning into a trace of true essence, which then flowed into Xuanji's body along his palm, and after swimming around, it flowed back into the body again. The speed of cultivation was accelerating. Xuanji had 2 spiritual roots, and her aptitude was originally good, but she had 2 spiritual roots of water and fire, which were mutually restrained, resulting in a relatively slow repair speed. Later, after practicing Beach and Xuanji, the attributes of the spiritual roots were also changing, and the water attribute gradually overwhelmed the fire attribute, which could be said to be 7 parts water and 3 parts fire. At this moment, the water spiritual root was rising again, and the fire spiritual root was suppressed again, suppressed to the edge. The water spiritual root was 9, and the fire spiritual root was less than 1. However, the next moment, Xuanji operated, pure Yang Dao body, like a sun burning, with a hot breath and gentleness, and merged into Xuanji's body. The body that was originally like a beautiful jade was less cold and more lively. Suddenly, Xuanji's body was covered with strands of red, which made her look even more radiant and beautiful. The heat on her body was also softened. The red and white colors intertwined together, and the light flowed, which was in line with the yin and yang. Chapter 195 Ice Spiritual Root. The 2 of them trembled. As the 2 days continued, the joy of the body and the pleasure from the soul made them indulge in it, and unable to extricate themselves. This state seemed to be out of control. But at this moment, yin-yang transformation was running. Not only did it not lose control, but its efficiency was increasing. The understanding of the Tao was increasing. The soul wandered in the void, resonating with the heaven and earth, and resonating with all things. As the power flowed, a black and white Tekai diagram appeared above their heads, with a faint pink on the outside. As the Tekai diagram above their heads operated, the efficiency and speed of the spiritual energy of the heaven and earth increased, and at the same time, the speed of cultivation was also increasing, gradually moving towards the highest realm of yin-yang transformation. Yin-yang transformation is different from other exercises. It does not look at understanding, does not look at qualifications, only looks at feelings, only looks at each other's feelings. The deeper the feelings, the stronger the love, the faster the cultivation speed. Originally, when practicing alone, the speed was 10, but now that the 2 of them are on a 2-day break and transformed into union, the speed is 15. Wandering in the void, being with the Tao, Thinking is extremely active, entering the state of enlightenment. There is gain and loss. Mortals are afraid of cold, so they have clothes. They are afraid of hunger, so they have food. They like beauty, so they start to marry and have offspring. But after becoming a monk, they are not afraid of cold and heat. Fasting and breathing, immortality, and dependence on the outside world is constantly decreasing. As they become stronger, they can collapse mountains, cause tsunamis, destroy planets, and destroy the sun. The monks get a long life, but they also lose the desire to reproduce. The monks get powerful cultivation, but they also lose interest in love between men and women and the joy of sex. The higher the wisdom, the deeper the city, the more sophisticated the calculation, but also lose sincerity, and it is difficult to trust anyone. Mortals, looking at the sea, are just the sea. But when the immortals look at the sea, they feel the fish in the sea, see the movement of the ocean currents, see the birth and death of marine species, and know too much. Because knowing more, they lose fun instead. It's like, when I was a kid, I was extremely happy to play with building blocks and watch cartoons. But when I grew up, I felt bored, because I saw through the essence of building blocks and cartoons and thought they were boring, so I abandoned them. A monk with a pure heart and few desires and a mortal full of desires see different worlds. A monk without desires can't find the touch of the soul. They appreciate everything in the world, just like appreciating murals. They can praise, but it's hard to resonate. They can experience the changes of the world, but it's hard to integrate into it. They are just passers-by. They are getting stronger step by step, but they are also losing step by step, losing all kinds of desires, losing all kinds of emotions, losing the human side. This is becoming an immortal step by step, but also becoming a Taoist step by step. To become a god, you must first become a mortal. To become a mortal is not to become a mortal, nor is it to pretend to be a mortal and live a mortal life. It's to see the essence of the world clearly and still love the world. The immortality of monk is not only the immortality of life, but also the immortality of the soul. Swipe. At this moment, the epiphany disappeared. Xuanji returned to the real world again, but his mind was sublimating. His state of mind became firm, like a rock, and the future was no longer confused. The bottleneck of the transformation of the spirit was broken. As long as he could live to the peak of the nascent soul, there was a great probability that he would break through the illusion and become a spiritual cultivator. The opportunity brought by this epiphany was not very beneficial in the short term, but the long-term benefits were huge. But, at this time, Xuanji also fell into epiphany. The fire spirit root that was originally suppressed was constantly fighting back at this moment, and water and fire collided with each other. With the collision of water and fire, the water spirit root and the fire spirit root gradually merged and turned into a new spirit root, the ice spirit root. In addition to the traditional 5 spirit roots, there are 3 strange spirit roots. Strange spirit roots are also in the 5 element. Thunder belongs to gold, wind belongs to wood, and ice belongs to water. The thunder spirit root is a mutation of the gold spirit root. The phoenix spirit root is a mutation of the wood spirit root. The ice spirit root is a mutation of the water spirit root. Along with the sudden realization, the spiritual roots in her body were changing dramatically. After about 3 days, they turned into ice spiritual roots. My husband, I turned into ice spiritual roots. Xuanji opened her eyes and her eyes flashed with joy. From the 2 spiritual roots of water and fire to the ice spiritual roots, Xuanji's qualifications were improving, and her cultivation speed was improving. The 2 spiritual roots also have levels, divided into 2 spiritual roots inferior, 2 spiritual roots average, 2 spiritual roots excellent, 2 spiritual roots top, 2 spiritual roots excellent. In the past, Xuanji had 2 spiritual roots of water and fire. The spiritual root properties conflicted, and water and fire restrained each other, resulting in a slow cultivation speed, and she was in the 2 spiritual roots inferior, but when it merged and transformed into ice spiritual roots, it turned into 2 spiritual roots excellent, and the cultivation speed was extremely fast. In the past, it took 180 years to reach the 9th level of foundation building. If you have ice spiritual roots in the foundation building period, you only need 130 years to enter the 9th level of foundation building. Congratulations. Lu Xuanji smiled. The mystery of yin-yang transformation seemed to be beyond his imagination. The key was the word transformation. Taking advantage of the opportunity, he realized the true meaning of transformation, and Yuanai's spiritual roots merged and sublimated, turning into ice spiritual roots. Yin-yang transformation is a bit scary, but the attributes of the spiritual roots have changed, and the cultivation method must also change. Yuanai said. Let me think about it. Lu Xuanji pondered, recalling that there was an ice-based cultivation method in Shuai Cave Heaven, which could only be cultivated to the second level of the Purple Mansion, which was very useless for Yuanai. Mobile phone deduction. Lu Xuanji subconsciously used his mobile phone. Mobile phone deduction in progress. Deduction continues. It can be deduced to the 5th level of the Purple Mansion, which takes about 10 years. Looking at the information on the mobile phone, Lu Xuanji was silent again. The mobile phone can deduce the cultivation method, but this deduction is not out of nothing, but extracting the corresponding information from the existing database and performing comprehensive evolution. In the database, there are only 3 books about ice-based cultivation methods. The cultivation methods are limited, and the deduction can only be deduced to the 5th level of the Purple Mansion. For Yuanai, it was a bit useless. He could only ask the elder for help. The elder asked and issued it to the family mission. Time passed quickly, and a year passed in a blink of an eye. At this time, the elder handed over an invitation. The invitation said that a Purple Mansion exchange conference would be held in Yaolanfang City. This kind of trade fair between Purple Mansion cultivators is held almost once every 30 years. The cultivators of various Purple Mansions will take out the treasures they don't need and trade with others for the items they need, bartering and replenishing the insufficient items with spirit stones. The elder said, at such a trade fair, you may encounter an ice type technique that happens to be suitable for your Taoist partner. That's the only way. If you can't find a suitable one, you can only choose the ice type technique of the 5th level of Purple Mansion. Lu Xuanji said. Chapter 196. Barter Conference. The grade of spiritual root is important, but the attribute of the technique is more important. A cultivator has a water spiritual root, but is practicing a fire technique. This is twice as effective as half the effort, and the speed of practice may not even be as fast as that of a cultivator with 5 spiritual roots. This shows that technique matching is very important. In the world of cultivation, high-level techniques are hard to come by, but techniques with matching attributes are even harder to come by. After Yuanai's spiritual root metamorphosis, she became an ice spiritual root. She has top qualifications, but high-level techniques with ice attributes are also hard to come by. Back in the cave, Lu Xuanji talked about the trade fair. After hearing this, Yuanai said, thank you, husband. If I can't find it at the barter convention, I can only create my own ice-based technique. It's not that you can't create it yourself, but it's quite time-consuming and not worth it. Lu Xuanji sighed. To create your own technique, one must be a Jiandan cultivator at least. Jiandan cultivators have broad knowledge, outstanding comprehension, and a long lifespan. They can spend hundreds of years to create their own techniques. But you are just a mere Zifu. It takes too much time to create your own technique. You may die before you can create one. I hope this transaction will be fruitful. If not, I can only ask Patriarch Jin for help. Husband, I don't want you to ask that woman for help. Yuanai frowned, looking a little depressed. As a cultivator, you can fight with wisdom and courage, but never fight with anger. Lu Xuanji said, Ancestor Jin has a wide network of contacts. She may have channels to obtain advanced skills. It doesn't matter how high, as long as she can practice to the golden core. I have some pure yang pills and some advanced skills in my pocket, which can be used for exchange. It depends on how lucky I'm this time. After a cultivator reaches the golden core, even if there is no subsequent skills, he can deduce a talisman that suits him. Even if there is a subsequent skill, he can practice directly to the nascent soul and god, but the golden core cultivators rarely follow the path of their predecessors. Instead, they delete and modify the subsequent skills, and create a skill that suits them. It may not be the best choice, but it is the most suitable. But before the golden core, you have to copy homework and follow the skills of your predecessors, and you can't create your own skills. One is insufficient accumulation, and the other is insufficient time. After packing up, go to Yaolongfang Market. Yaolongfang Market was opened up by a golden core cultivator. Because his cultivation is strong enough to suppress all kinds of ghosts and gods, there are many transactions here. Every year, some Purple Mansion monks gather here to hold a barter meeting. The location is at Jubeo Tower. When entering Jubeo Tower, Xuanji showed the invitation. Immediately, a foundation building monk greeted him and took him to a private room. "Senior, please put on the heavenly secret cloak. The heavenly secret cloak can conceal the heavenly secret on your body and can be used for fair transactions and avoid some hatred." The foundation building monk took out 2 cloaks and handed them over. "Thank you." Xuanji was grateful. When he put on the black cloak, he felt that his aura was confused and became unclear. His face was also shrouded in black mist, and he couldn't tell whether he was a man or a woman, or his age. Even his voice was neutral and popular. When he put on the cloak, enemies became strangers, and friends became strangers. Because they were strangers to each other, the transaction could go on. Imagine if 2 enemies met at a barter meeting and had a life and death battle, or killed people to rob treasures afterwards. Would the barter meeting be held in the future? Strangeness brings a sense of security, which is a condition for the exchange conference to proceed. After saying the contact signal, under the guidance of the waiter, he entered a hall. In the center of the hall, there is a huge platform, like the platform of an auction. There are tables and chairs scattered around, and there are monks sitting inside, all wearing black cloaks, with black mist surrounding their faces, and it is difficult to see their details. Xuanji came to a table, sat down casually, and waited. When the time came, the bell rang, and a Purple Mansion monk walked up to the platform and said, "This is Jubeo Tower. At the exchange conference, I hope everyone will abide by the rules, trade fairly here, and not fight. If there is any violation, I will suppress it." The terrifying aura exuded was the aura of the 9th level of the Purple Mansion. "If I can't suppress it, Patriarch Xu will take action and suppress everything. I hope everyone abides by the rules. I'm just supervising the transaction and will not interfere with the transaction." After that, the Purple Mansion monk of Jubeo Tower sat next to it and closed his eyes to rest. It looked like you can do whatever you want, as long as you don't fight, everything is fine. "Fellow Daoists, I'm here first." Just then, a monk in a cloak walked up to the platform, took out 3 boxes, and opened them separately. 1 box contained grey soil, 1 box contained a 3-foot-high golden bell, and 1 box contained a volume of exercises. He said, "This thing is called the soil of all things, which can be used to grow spiritual medicines. The quantity is 20 kilograms and the value is 300,000 spiritual stones. This golden bell is a 3rd-grade spiritual weapon. It can defend and launch sonic attacks. The value is 150,000 spiritual stones. This volume of exercises is called the art of longevity. It is mainly wood-based and can be practiced all the way to the peak of the golden elixir. It is not good at attacking and killing, but it can increase the lifespan of the monks. After practicing, the lifespan of the foundation building monks can be increased by 20 years, the lifespan of the Purple Mansion monks can be increased by 80 years, and the lifespan of the golden elixir monks can be increased by 200 years. The price is 300,000 spiritual stones. I want to exchange for pure yang pills, at least 5. It depends on the situation." Xuanji looked at it and was slightly moved. The soil of all things can not only be used to grow spiritual medicines, but also one of the main materials for the advancement of the swallowing heaven cauldron to the 4th grade. The art of immortality has the attribute of wood and can prolong life. It has a great reference value for his self-created skills. Self-creation is not caused by closing the door, but after reading a large number of skills, there is a huge accumulation of knowledge, which makes it possible to create a method. Pure yang pills are in the storage bag, but the purchase of ice-type skills is the first priority. The purchase of these things can only be put on the back burner. After the introduction, everyone was silent, and no one spoke. The cultivator did not say much, returned to the original position, and opened the 3 boxes directly. Another cultivator came forward and showed a 3rd grade flying sword and a sword tactic, which was also expensive. One cultivator after another walked up to the high platform and showed some treasures. Of course, some cultivators did not show treasures, but waited patiently, watching the treasures one after another. They appeared one after another. There were top level elixirs, formation diagrams, rare materials, rare spiritual medicines, and golden elixir skills and yuanying skills. These items could not be bought in the shops outside or at auctions. Because Purple Mansion cultivators are not short of money, exchanging treasures for spiritual stones is a disadvantage. Only at the barter conference, exchanging treasures for treasures is the most cost effective. I have a volume of ice-based skills that can be cultivated to the 9th level of the nascent soul, and the price is 500,000 spiritual stones. There is also a 3rd grade spiritual weapon with ice attributes. The price is 100,000. There is also a volume of fire-based skills that can be cultivated to the 3rd level of the nascent soul. The price is 300,000 spiritual stones. The exchange items are preferably Purple Mansion pills. At this time, a voice came. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197. The fish has been hooked. After the items were laid out, the cultivators began to communicate with each other through their minds, bargaining and exchanging items. Communication through mind is safer and more confidential than communication through language. Deo, I want that volume of ice attributed skills. I also want that 3rd grade ice type spiritual weapon. Xuanji sent a telepathic message. The price is 600,000 spiritual stones. I only have one Purple Mansion pill. Can I use a pure yang pill to replace it? Yes. The cultivator nodded. 1 Purple Mansion pill, 2 pure yang pills. No, at least 3 pure yang pills. But 3 pure yang pills, I'm at a loss. I can add 100,000 spiritual stones. I don't need spiritual stones. How about this? I'll add 1 volume of skills, and you add 1 pure yang pill. Yes. Just like that, the transaction was completed during the bargaining. 1 Purple Mansion pill and 4 pure yang pills were traded for a volume of ice type yuanying skills, a volume of fire type yuanying skills, and a 3rd grade ice type spiritual weapon. In this transaction, the cultivators on the other side were happy, because they made a lot of money. They could buy the skills many times, and make money many times. Xuanji was also happy, because he had yuanying skills, and didn't have to worry about the skills before the 9th level of the nascent soul. You are making a lot of money, and someone else is not losing money. The transaction of skills is very watery. If you don't have connections, don't have channels, and have a low level of cultivation, it is not only difficult to obtain a volume of skills, but also expensive. But after reaching the Purple Palace Golden Pill, the cultivation is high and there are more channels. The price of the skills is not only low, but also large in quantity. Selling skills to make money is more about cutting the leaks at the bottom. When the cultivation reaches a certain level, the skills are not important, but resources are more important. Without resources, even if there are immortal skills, it is difficult to become an immortal, not to mention the Golden Pill. Those naive cultivators who think that they can be invincible with top level skills are ridiculous and pathetic. Swish. The two nodded. The man threw 3 boxes. Xuanji also threw a box. Opening the box, Xuanji checked the exercises in the box and confirmed that they were correct, without any mistakes or omissions. The cultivator on the opposite side also checked and confirmed that they were correct and the medicinal effects were suitable. After completing the first wave of transactions, Xuanji breathed a sigh of relief, and the purpose of the trade fair was achieved. Next, it was much easier. Deo, the soil of all things, the secret of longevity, and 2 pure yang pills. 3. No, I don't have any more. At most I can add 100,000 spirit stones, no more. Okay, that's it. The 3rd grade spirit good requires 5 pure yang pills. You are robbing money. At most 3 pure yang pills. That's it. 4 pure yang pills. plus 100,000 spirit stones. The divine thoughts were communicating, and the buying and selling continued. It was like returning to Pinduoduo in the previous life. Buying, buying, buying. Everything looked good, everything I wanted to buy, and then I bought, and bought until there was no money in my pocket. This barter conference was mainly based on bartering, and the insufficient amount was supplemented with spirit stones. At the last moment, 3 purple mansion pills, 8 pure yang pills, and 400,000 spirit stones were spent. In this trade fair, pure yang pills and purple mansion pills are hard currency, which can be said to be invincible. As long as you throw the pills at people, many cultivators will only hesitate for a moment and agree. This time, the expenditure can be said to be lavish. If the elder knew about it, he would definitely scold him for being a spendthrift. He can spend so much money because, on the one hand, he ripens the spiritual medicine, which has a short growth cycle, and can be opened many times. On the other hand, with the help of the heaven swallowing cauldron to refine pills, one furnace can produce 9 pills, and the pill yield rate is high. The small money in his pocket is increasing, so he can spend it lavishly, and be a spendthrift. After collecting his things, Lu Xuan left the exchange meeting. He returned to the private room, took off his clothes, and restored his original appearance. He walked directly through the secret passage, left the Jubeo building, and disappeared into the distance. At the exchange meeting, a black-clothed cultivator left quietly and arrived at an inn, where he saw a man in white. Is it done? It's done. How is it going? The fish has taken the bait and left a mark in the soil of all things. We can track its traces with the help of a compass, said the man in black, handing over a compass. Not long ago, someone learned that the Lu family was looking for a volume of ice-based skills. As for the specific reason, no one knows. After getting the news, someone made a small plan to use this trading conference to fish with ice-based skills. If the fish doesn't take the bait, it's fine. If the fish takes the bait, it's a good opportunity to get rid of the enemy for the family. This plan has uncertainty, but after reporting it to the big boss's instruction was that it was okay. So the action began. In order to make the plan go smoothly, even a part of the soil of all things was added. The ice-based skills were separated from the soil of all things, and the two exchanged them separately, in order to dispel someone's suspicion. The man in white took the compass and nodded, saying, "Okay, I'll remember your contribution." The black monk said, "Senior, I was able to hide the mark with the help of the all things soil, but it's hard to say how long it can be hidden. It's difficult, or even impossible, to leave marks on elixirs, utensils, and clothes. Purple Palace monks have keen perceptions, and can detect every change in the body, so the marks left behind are easy to detect. But the all things soil is an exception. At that time, there were more than 2 kilograms of soil, and the marks were buried in it. If you don't look carefully, you may really get away with it." "Got it," said the man in white. The black monk nodded and left. Taking out a token, the man in white sensed it with his mind, and passed on the message. "Do it. The direction is there." At this time, in a col, a cave was opened, and a black monk walked out. On his palm, appeared a blood-colored token with the word, "Kill," engraved on it. Sensing the message on the token, he turned into a stream of light and disappeared. In the mortal village, an old man was lying on a rocking chair, squinting his eyes, enjoying the sun, when he suddenly sensed something. In his pocket, there was a blood-colored token. The token was engraved with the word "Kill." Sensing the message of the token, the old man's originally hunched body straightened up, and his old face was changing rapidly, turning into the appearance of a middle-aged man. His body made a crackling sound, and his body was growing taller, turning into a height of 1.7 meters. He stood up, his body flashed a few times, and disappeared in the mortal village. Snap, snap. At this moment, the village behind him turned into ruins. There was no one living inside. This was a ghost village. Swish. In the wilderness, Xuanji urged the flying sword, and flew forward at a low altitude. Suddenly, a man in black appeared in front of him. "Daoyao, why are you blocking the road?" Xuanji asked. "I'm here to take your life," the man in black said, his aura surging, his 9th level of purple mansion cultivation bursting out. A blood-colored sword appeared in his palm, with a blood-colored rose on it. Swish. The sword flashed, and he killed Lu Xuanji. Chapter 198 Plan number 2. Fast. Fast. The speed reached the extreme, abandoning all the changes in moves. There was only speed. Extreme speed. Swish. At this moment, a sharp sword slashed across Lu Xuanji's neck, and his head fell to the ground. One sword killed him instantly. What a pity. Lu Xuanji is very powerful, and he can be expected to reach the golden core in the future, but after all, he is only at the second level of the purple mansion. No matter how powerful he is, how can he cross 7 realms and defeat the enemy? The black-clothed killer said indifferently. But at this moment, Lu Xuanji's body turned into a breath, and dissipated in the world, leaving no blood. Incarnation. The black-clothed killer was slightly stunned. Among the magical powers, there are Incarnation and Avatar. Incarnation is a separate individual that can practice alone. After the main body falls, it can also exist alone. The clone, on the other hand, is a fighting body that relies on the main body to evolve. It does not last long, but it can continue to fight. As for the disadvantage, the incarnation cannot be too far away from the main body, otherwise it will dissipate. The strength of the incarnation depends on the strength of the main body. Swish. The next moment, the Yuan key condensed again, and transformed into the appearance of Lu Xuanji. Lu Xuanji sighed and said, "The 9th level of the purple mansion is really powerful. I thought I could fight with it, but I didn't expect that I would be killed in an instant." The black-clothed killer said, "When you reach the purple mansion realm, that one is not a genius, that one is not talented, and it is almost impossible to fight across levels." Lu Xuanji nodded and said, "That's right. Among the cultivators, who can prove the purple mansion, there are cultivators of the 9th level who have to spiritual roots. They are all geniuses, not weaklings. It's me who is different." After forging the upper grade purple mansion, he was a little arrogant and looked down on others. Subconsciously, he thought that the purple mansion cultivators were just like this. After sensing the danger, he did not dodge away, but directly confronted the enemy to see if he could fight across levels and kill the enemy. But reality soon slapped his face. The incarnation was killed in seconds with a sword. This made him realize a little. Purple mansion cultivators are all geniuses. More than 90% of those who can attain the purple mansion have to spiritual roots or special spiritual roots, and they are all rare geniuses. It's okay to think about a cross-level war, but when it comes to the real moment, it's either a miserable victory every time, or a capsize and being killed. As far as I know, the incarnation cannot be far away from the original body. Your original body is within 10 miles nearby. The black-clothed killer asked, but his divine sense was probing and searching. He wanted to find the original body through the incarnation. Killing the incarnation is useless. Only killing the original body can solve all problems. My original body is within 10 miles. If you can find it, you can kill me. Lu Xuanji smiled and said, maintaining the incarnation requires consuming the original body's true energy. As long as you kill the incarnation many times, the number of times the incarnation dies too many times, the original body's true energy will also be exhausted. Kill. The black-clothed killer flashed and rushed over. Swish. The incarnation was killed again. The next moment, 3 more incarnations took action, urging their magical powers to attack. With just a flash of sword light, the 3 incarnations were destroyed. Then, 6 more incarnations appeared and besieged the black-clothed killer. This time, there were too many people, and it took 3 breaths for the 6 incarnations to be completely destroyed. Finally, there were 9 incarnations, and they joined forces to besiege. Swish. With the flash of sword light, the 9 incarnations were all killed after less than 10 seconds. Just like that, one incarnation after another appeared, one after another, and then were quickly killed. But Lu Xuanji's expression did not change, and he continued to urge the incarnation. The incarnations attacked and attacked, persevering. One Lu Xuanji fell, and countless Lu Xuanji stood up. In the past, I thought that incarnations were used for group fights, but now it seems that incarnations can hone combat skills. Let me ask you, what other fighting skills can compare to honing skills through repeated deaths? This is the correct way to use 9 transformations of fish and dragon. Boom boom boom. The clones died continuously, and Lu Xuanji's aura was greatly depleted. He could only absorb the spiritual fluid of the heaven-swallowing cauldron and use the spiritual fluid to restore his body's consumption. At the same time, deduction of fate was turned on, calculating the enemy's trajectory, flaws, etc., and giving combat guidance to the clones. Controlling the clones, fighting a life and death battle. Gradually, the battle entered the consumption stage. The black-clothed killer panted slightly, and his breath was a little weak. He is a killer. His advantages are fast speed and strong explosive power, but his disadvantage is lack of endurance. Continuously killing multiple incarnations has also consumed a lot of his own energy. You're lucky. The black-clothed killer sneered, his figure flashed, and disappeared into the distance. Lu Xuanji sneered, opened the Beidou map, and found that the black-clothed killer was hiding in the shadow of a stone, using the shadow to perfectly hide his own tracks, and was observing the situation within 10 miles. At this moment, if he walked out directly, he would soon be discovered by the killer, and then given a fatal blow. I'd better continue to lurk here, motionless. As long as I don't move, the enemy may not be able to find me. At this moment, a blue dot appeared on the Beidou map, and then another blue dot appeared. The two blue dots kept colliding and fighting. Beidou map was constantly zooming in, and a picture appeared. In the picture, Liu Rumeng was fighting with a purple mansion cultivator. The two sides were fighting bloody and fighting constantly. Obviously, the man behind the scenes, when he surrounded and killed him, also thought of the protector. At this time, someone intercepted his protector. The two sides were fighting, but Lu Xuanji was not worried. Because Liu Rumeng comes from the lineage of the ancestor Xuanji, he is a top-level natural fighter with strong combat power. He is a sword cultivator, known as the best in attack and killing. It is very difficult to defeat a sword cultivator. However, although sword cultivators are invincible in the same realm, they are also very slow to upgrade, because of their extremes and difficult paths. Boom boom boom. After just a few moves, the opponent was at a disadvantage. Swish. A flash of sword light passed by, and the opponent was about to be killed. At this time, the golden shield blocked in front. But Liu Rumeng only chopped 3 times in a row, and the golden shield shattered. Senior, our plan has failed. On the distant mountain, stood a man in black, his body hidden in the darkness, and his face could not be seen clearly. At this moment, the subordinate stepped forward and said, "Plan number 1 failed, so let's implement plan number 2. The man in black said calmly, "Plan 1, lure the snake out of the hole, fish for the bait, intercept Liu Rumeng, and kill Lu Xuanji. Plan 2, if killing Lu Xuanji fails, then kill Liu Rumeng." Everyone says that Lu Xuanji has the qualifications of a golden elixir, and may become a golden elixir cultivator in 200 years. Few people know that Liu Rumeng is not inferior to Lu Xuanji. She is only 320 years old, and has reached the 9th level of the Purple Mansion. It is not that she has a chance to become a golden elixir, but she is only one step away from it. Chapter 199 Siege. Swish. With a flash of sword light, the golden shield was split apart. The sword light continued to slash down, tearing apart the protective key. With a violent sound, the Purple Mansion monk was chopped into 2 on the spot, and his body was scattered on the ground. At this moment, Liu Rumeng said with a grim expression, "Come out. Dao, you are really strong." At this moment, a black shadow walked out of the void. He was wearing a black robe, with a tall body, golden eyes, golden hair, and a handsome face, giving people a feeling of superiority. Swish. At this moment, with the sound, one black shadow after another appeared, as if they were ambushing here specifically. They stood in different corners, not seeking to attack, but just blocking the surrounding void, urging the formation flags, and cutting off the escape route. Sumer Demon Lord. Liu Rumeng's expression changed slightly, as if he recognized the identity of the person in front of him. Dao, I'm here to stop you. You are the pride of the Jinxi lineage, with terrifying talent and extraordinary aptitude. You are expected to become a Yuanying's engine in the future. Many people will not be able to sleep if you are alive. Please return to the abyss. Zumi Demon Lord spoke, his words respectful, like a modest gentleman. Sure enough, my human calamity has come. Liu Rumeng said, "It is easy to overcome the heavenly calamity and the life calamity, but it is difficult to predict the human calamity." The master said that, if I were in Xiang Mountain, I could certainly avoid this calamity, but the number of calamities is increasing. When the number of calamities accumulates to a certain point, I will inevitably fall into an eternal calamity. It is better to overcome the calamity while it is not yet strong. The human calamity has come. This is a good thing. You guys can't stop me. He said it easily, but the world looked around and looked at the sky again and found that the sky had become dark, as if it had been blocked by a powerful formation, and it was silent. Within a radius of 10 years, all were imprisoned by the formation, forming a net of heaven and earth. I'm your human robbery. I will take this opportunity to capture you and bring you back to you state. I just need a demon concubine. It's not bad to have a peerless swordsman like you. I'm very interested in your union. Zumi Demon Lord smiled and said, "Back then, the old thief Xuanji killed my father. I couldn't do anything to her and could only take her favorite disciple. I have been here, waiting for you for a long time. I have arranged many means. You are doomed. Don't expect others to rescue you. In order to plot against you, I asked a giant and senior to take action and disrupt the destiny. Just you. Do you want to trap me completely?" Liu Rumeng said, "You are just a defeated general in the past. I failed to kill you in the past. Today, I can use your blood to sharpen my sword. There is still me." At this moment, a woman in black spoke up, holding a scepter in her hand, and said coldly, "I'm a little inferior to you, but we will tell who is stronger and who is weaker after a fight. I, Demon Lord Xiao, have stayed in the 9th floor of the Purple Mansion for 300 years. Unfortunately, the abominable heavenly tribulation has severely suppressed my lineage of demons. The severity of the tribulation is 10 times that of the righteous cultivators. If not for this, I would have become a great cultivator of the golden core long ago." Just then, a woman came out, wearing purple clothes, and with a crescent moon mark on her forehead. Her words were filled with hatred for the heavenly Dao. "I, Demon Lord Baxi, must be able to take on a few more swords from you, Taoist friend." Another demon lord spoke. He stood tall with his hands empty. He had no magic weapon on him, but his body was the best magic weapon. Then one demon lord after another appeared, one after another, a total of 8. All of these demon cultivators were in the 9th floor of the Purple Mansion, with deep accumulation and strong combat power, not inferior to ordinary golden core cultivators. If it weren't for the extremely fierce heavenly tribulation of the demon Dao, they would have passed the heavenly tribulation and achieved the golden core long ago. In addition to the 8 demon lords, some other demon cultivators appeared one after another, forming large formations to block everything. Chu is mainly based on the immortal way. Yu is mainly based on the demon way. The demon cultivators from Yu appeared in large numbers in Chu, which is a big deal. If there were no cultivators to lead the way and avoid the vague nodes, these demon cultivators would never appear here. It's a big trouble. The situation is a bit dangerous. Liu Rumeng didn't have time to think about who was the demon cultivator's accomplice and who was betraying Chu, but just felt the danger. One careless move and the road will be ruined here. How is it? Is Marlin open enough to suppress you? Zumi Demon Lord smiled slightly, and his aura had locked on Liu Rumeng. At any time, he would launch a fatal attack. Liu Rumeng said, "I didn't expect that I would also suffer such a calculation. 8 demon kings besieged me. It's worth it for me to die here today. When I was in Zifu, the master calculated the future for me and said that I would have 3 death disasters. This time is likely to be one of them. Then let's fight." Buzz buzz buzz. At this moment, Liu Rumeng's aura was boiling, and strange phenomena appeared behind her. The blue dragon danced, the white tiger jumped, the red bird soared, and the black tortoise flew. As the aura was boiling, 4 swords appeared and floated above her head. One sword was blue, with a strong aura of Yi wood. One sword was white, with a strong aura of Zheng metal. One sword was red, with a strong aura of Li fire. One sword was blue, with a strong aura of Kui water. Swish. His body flashed, and he attacked the 4 demon kings at the same time. With one strike, he dominated the world, like a demon god descending. What a peerless sword fairy. Everyone in the world thought that Fairy Rumeng was a cultivator with 2 spiritual roots. or a cultivator with different spiritual roots, but who would have thought that you were actually a cultivator with 4 spiritual roots? Relying on the 4 spiritual roots, you not only built your foundation and became a purple mansion, but also became the 9th level of the purple mansion, and there is hope for the golden elixir. Zumi Demon King laughed. This time, Liu Rumeng could no longer hide her trump card. Everything was revealed. She turned out to be a 4 spiritual root. Generally speaking, a 4 spiritual root would find it difficult to build a foundation, even if one cultivated for a lifetime. Even if one was lucky enough to build a foundation, the path would be limited. But Liu Rumeng broke the shackles, turned the impossible into possible, stepped into the 9th level of the purple mansion, and the golden elixir was in sight. Boom boom boom. With a violent sound, the 2 sides clashed. The 7 demon kings retreated one after another, with sword wounds on their bodies, and only the Zumi Demon King remained motionless. Liu Rumeng retreated 9 steps, her body shook, she groaned in her nose, spit out a mouthful of blood, and her arms were shaking slightly. You fought against the 8 demon kings with your own strength. If you don't die, you will be another Jinzi patriarch in the future. It's a pity that I paid a huge price to plot against you this time. You will definitely be captured by me this time. If you want to deal with me, you will have to pay a heavy price. Liu Rumeng said coldly. I wonder how many of the 8 demon kings will be left after today's battle. Then let's see whose method is better. Zumi Demon King sneered and said, arrange a large formation. Boom. Suddenly, the demon cultivators on the periphery were operating, and the formation flags were operating one by one. There were about 108 demon flags operating, which turned into a terrifying formation and enveloped Liu Rumeng. The battle instantly entered a tragic stage. Chapter 200, Crazy Talisman. In another corner of the wilderness, Xuanji opened the Beidou map and saw a densely packed corner. On the Beidou map, he saw yellow dots and blue dots besieging a blue dot. Then, the picture zoomed in, showing the scene of Liu Rumeng being besieged. There were 108 foundation building monks on the periphery, each holding a large flag, operating the formation, turning into a confinement force, forming a siege. There were also 8 purple palace peak monks, urging killing moves, besieging Yiwanyi, with ruthless means and fierce attacks. Liu Rumeng was trapped in the siege. The situation was unfavorable, and she fell into a disadvantageous situation. But she urged the 4 swords. The azure dragon of the dead was surrounded. The white tiger was roaring. The vermilion bat was soaring. The black tortoise was dormant, fighting vertically and horizontally, evolving the birth and death of the 4 images, fighting vertically and horizontally. Even if she fell into a disadvantageous situation, she could not be defeated for a while. In the confrontation, she took advantage of some opportunities to injure some monks. The demon cultivators of Yu are besieging Liu Rumeng. The situation is a bit troublesome. Xuanji frowned, feeling a little uneasy. Yu is the place where demon cultivators live. There are a large number of demon cultivators there. They are at odds with Chu and often clash with each other. It is because of the existence of the demon race that Chu and Yu have to stop the war. If it were not for the existence of the demon race, both sides would have been beaten up. Even so, various masters clashed in private, and the fighting was not small at all. In the hinterland of Chu, a large number of demon cultivators appeared. This is a big problem. Without some big forces tipping off and acting as demon traitors, those demon cultivators would not have appeared here at all. The combat effectiveness of those 8 demon kings is quite strong, not inferior to ordinary giant cultivators. Liu Rumeng can't stand it. At this moment, Xuanji saw the picture. A certain demon king slapped out with his palm, and Liu Rumeng spat out a mouthful of blood, but at the same time, he thrust out with a sword and pierced the demon king's body. When he was about to kill the demon king with a sword, another demon king came to rescue him, and at the same time, the demon king used the secret technique of escaping from the sword to escape from the sword. The battle soon entered a hot stage. Looking at the scene, people were terrified and worried about Liu Rumeng. These demon kings were all at the peak of the purple mansion, because the heavenly tribulation was very unfriendly to the demon cultivators, and the tribulation was extremely fierce and difficult to overcome. They could only be stuck at the peak of the purple mansion, constantly accumulating treasures to cross the tribulation, constantly honing their magical powers, and honing their combat skills. The magical powers they cultivated were numerous and varied, including killing, defense, exploration, speed, burst, group attack, piercing, etc. And there were almost no shortcomings, and they were almost fierce to the point of being a mess. In a duel of the same realm, the righteous cultivators could not beat the demon cultivators at all. However, in the duel, Liu Rumeng was also extremely ferocious, with the most powerful and sharp attack, with the tendency to break all laws with one sword. Fighting 1 against 8, he was at a disadvantage, but he was defeated but not dead. Boom boom boom. The two sides clashed together, but Liu Rumeng was injured again. Swish. The long sword slashed and killed, breaking through the siege many times, but it was soon blocked again. If it were only 8 demon kings, Liu Rumeng would be defeated, but he could still retreat and break out of the siege. But there were 108 foundation building monks, urging the magic flags, imprisoning the void, and preventing Liu Rumeng from escaping. Liu Rumeng seemed to be trapped in a spider web, and could not escape. The situation was somewhat critical. Liu Rumeng is actually a 4 spiritual root. She has reached the peak of the Purple Mansion. Xuanji sensed the aura, and confirmed that Liu Rumeng was a 4 spiritual root, with 4 spiritual roots of wood, gold, fire, and water. There are many cultivators with 4 or 5 spiritual roots in the world, but there are very few who have established their foundation. As for the Purple Mansion, it was the first time he met one. Boom boom boom. At this moment, Liu Rumeng was hit again and injured again. Not only was she injured, but her true essence was also greatly depleted, and she was almost exhausted. What should I do? Should I attack, or run for my life? Xuanji fell into thought. Subconsciously, he took out the golden token, which could send out a golden elixir attack. The golden elixir attack here is mainly a golden elixir attack in the early stage. If it is unexpected and attacked by surprise, it can kill ordinary Purple Mansion cultivators, but if facing a Purple Mansion cultivator, he may not be able to kill him if he is prepared and dodges in advance. As for the 8 demon kings, they are fighting in the early stage of the golden elixir, and it is almost impossible for this golden token to kill them. He sensed again that there were 3 talismans in the dungeon. The first talisman could defend against a blow from a giant and cultivator. The second talisman could break through space confinement, space restrictions, etc., and escape. The third talisman, I hope I will never use it. Carefully sensing the third talisman, Xuanji frowned slightly. He vaguely understood why it should never be used, because the price was too high. Many people couldn't afford it. Swish. At this moment, Xuanji excited the golden token. At this time, the cultivation of the second level of the Purple Mansion had a better control over the golden token. A sword energy appeared silently on the golden token. The sword energy did not have an amazing aura, but was invisible and traceless. Swish. At this moment, the sword energy flashed and pierced the body of the black-clothed killer. The body exploded and turned into several pieces scattered on the ground. After death, the black-clothed killer was still stunned, not knowing why he died. The great elephant is invisible. The great sound is silent. What an invisible sword. Xuanji sighed. From the sword energy just now, he glimpsed a glimpse of the power of Jin Laozu. At the moment of building the foundation, he felt that Jin Laozu was very powerful, but that was all. But after entering the Purple Mansion, the more he sensed, the more he felt that Jin Laozu was unfathomable. The ignorant are fearless, because the more they know how to be in awe. With flashing steps, he went to the battlefield and activated the third talisman on his body at the same time. Mad Talisman, a 4th grade talisman. After being activated, it can consume a lifespan of 60 years and transform it into the cultivation of the peak of the Purple Mansion, which can be maintained for 1 stick of incense. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.